So, hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here by myself right now. Donovan may join us. Walter's supposed to be joining us, but y'all know how it goes. He always on CPT, color people time. But anyway, I'm here. Like I said, big giant welcome and thank you to YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. And not only are you just viewers, but you are participants as well because I do share the link. That'll let you come up and briefly speak your mind or ask a question or something like that. Today, we are going to be talking about that of actor Billy Porter saying that he is going to have to sell his house and that he is living paycheck to paycheck due to the actors and writers strike. And I'll get into that in just a little bit. Of course, you guys know that this is the money show where we try to talk about money, right? We're not always successful, but please feel free to ask any question that you like, and hopefully we can answer it. Walter, of course, is our resident financial guru. As soon as he comes on here, then you guys can ask questions or whatever, and he can see if he can answer it. But give him about another minute or so to come on here, and then I'll get started. But I want to acknowledge those who are in the comment section. Let's see who is here. We have Mansa Musa. How you doing? He says, I hope the alphabet community can come to his aid. I don't know. Macy, how you doing? He says, has he campaign? He has champagne taste with beer bottle budget or beer budget. Yeah, one may, think that. And Connie, how you doing? He says, I don't speak for anyone else, but I see this as a sad thing for Black people. Just saying. I see what you're saying. And Freddie B, what's going on with you? You like that thumbnail? I like it too. I thought it would be very eye-catching. And OM 648, how you doing? He says he needs to ask his husband to spot him a couple of dollars. Well, maybe his husband is actually the wife. And maybe his husband, who may actually be his wife, maybe he's a stay-at-home like husband or something. I don't know. Vic, how you doing? He said, who is that person? Oh, I'll tell you guys in just a second. And Freddie, you say stop buying balloon dresses, probably fixed. You know what's so funny? Those dresses came to my mind as well. Of course, I'll fill you guys in. Stacy, how you doing? He says, hello from Hawthorne, California. Yes, indeed. And Maureen, what's going on with you? And Black America, he said, where is the money? We're going to find out. And GLS, how are you doing? Thank you so much. Hey, Kimmy, how are you? And LS, what's going on with you? And Brother Don, our moderator, how are you this fine evening? And Tracy, how are you? Says, happy Wednesday. Yes, indeed. And Jan Michael, what's going on with you? You say, hey, and greetings, just to pause to say hello. As for the subject matter, I'll pass. Remember, smiles always yours. Yes, indeed. And Jimmy James, what's going on? And Black Rain 303 says, blessings, Demetra and family from Kiev. Well, how are you way from over there? So I'll go ahead and get started, as I do not know when Walter will come on and if Donovan will come on. All right. So maybe you guys know, or maybe you do not know, there's been a strike in Hollywood, right? Originally, it was the actors. I guess they were wanting some residuals, and I guess also AI was a factor because AI, I guess the studios brought AI into the equation. Of course, you guys know we have all these GP chats or whatever they're called, these AI systems that can write things. And so I guess maybe the studios are like, maybe we can use AI to help write some scripts. Well, of course, the writers is like, no, because, that's going to replace us, among some other things. And so then the actors decided to help them. And so they are also striking, which means that they're not working. No movies or television shows or anything like that are being produced. And so Hollywood is at a standstill. They said this is rather historic because And I guess 63 years ago was the last time writers and actors stood together in solidarity. They also said this is the largest strike in Hollywood's history. Um, let's see what else it says. There's 160,000 actors and performers that are protesting, and some of the people that they're protesting against now is actually like a streaming thing, right? Because Netflix, Amazon, Sony, Warner Brothers, and all the other streaming services, they are actually streaming old shows, right? Or shows that were syndicated and now they're just streaming and people can binge watch and stuff like that. Well, the writers and actors was like, well, we should get a cut of that because you guys are making a lot of money and, we need a cut of that too. And so the studio executives are like, no, you're not getting a cut of that. So that's partially why they're striking. And a lot of actors have gone online to show their residual checks. Some of them are like 3 cents, 50 cents, $3 or whatever. So it's not a lot of money, right? So that brings us to Mr. Billy Porter. Unless you live under a rock, you guys know who Billy Porter is. He is of the LGBTQ community. He's been on a copious amount of television shows like Pose, and American Horror Story, and some other stuff. I think he was in a recent rendition of Cinderella. He was the fairy godmother. Most notably, we've seen him on a lot of red carpets, wearing ball gowns and stuff like that, right? That's his thing. And so he has disclosed yesterday that he has to sell his house and that he is living paycheck to paycheck due to the writers and actors strike. Because he's saying, I had a big, movie coming up and now it's on hold indefinitely. And so I'm going to have to sell my house and, living paycheck to paycheck. But he is specifically mad at Bill Iyer. I guess he is a CEO of Disney. And I guess he went on record basically saying, well, we'll wait them out. We'll wait until they're, losing their homes and their apartments, and then they'll come back. And, they'll come back to work without us having to acquiesce their demands. And so there's been a lot of high-profiled actors like The Rock, Matt Damon, and, just a whole bunch of people who got money, right, who ain't going to have to sell their house. They have donated millions of dollars to the effort to help other actors and writers who are on strike. And so, again, they're in Hollywood every day. Unfortunately, Billy Porter is not the only one that's being affected. It is saying that now it is spreading to Atlanta because, Atlanta has, I guess, some sort of a kind of a Hollywood type studio thing where they make movies and things. It's being affected there. It said lots of people have been laid off recently in Atlanta. And it's trickling down to costume makers and everything that's connected to that of Hollywood. But to me, it really made me wonder because oftentimes, right, we see movie stars. And what is the general assumption? The general assumption is, oh, they're rich. They must be doing so well. Look at them. They're here. They're there. They got all this stuff. But then when you hear stuff like this, it's like, wait a minute now. Billy Porter, you're like, the black gay sweetheart of Hollywood. You would think that he would be balling. It's like money wouldn't be an issue. Now, I don't know if he said he's living paycheck to paycheck. So that means he, probably doesn't have a lot of money. But then I also thought, you don't have anything else you could do? Surely there's something else you could do. And now I'm not trying to be mean or nothing, but you can't twirl around a pole or something. I don't know. Like, what else can you do, Billy? Now, I don't know if you guys have ever heard Billy Porter sing. He has an amazing voice. When I say an amazing voice, because, Billy Porter was a singer from the 90s, but of course he didn't come out as gay. He was kind of, acting like he wasn't gay. But so, he can sing. I don't know. But to me, it was rather shocking that he's selling his house. But as I said, there's a lot of people who are in dire straits. I've seen a lot of videos of movie stars saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have any money. I'm running out of money. The residual checks suck. And so They're saying that the CEOs of, all of these streaming services, I want to say they said between all of them, they've gotten a bonus or bonuses to the tune of like 700 million collectively, which is a lot of money, right? And so this is also another story of, the very wealthy, getting more. And it also changes our perception of who is actually wealthy. Clearly, it's not, movie stars and actors. I saw where some actor on Orange is the New Black, which was Netflix's first like really popular show of out of all the things that they have on there. He says, well, I was working my regular job and doing that show. He says, because my regular job paid me more. So he wasn't able to quit. But it's very, very telling as to what is going on there in Hollywood. But very shocking to me that Billy Porter is basically saying I'm broke. And my thing is, I don't know, you're living high on the hog to where you're not saving any money and, you're banking on, because my mom used to always say this, and y'all mamas and daddies and grandmamas and all that, you probably used to say this too. Never count money until it's in your hand, right? Because you have a lot of people who spend on future, maybe potential earnings, right? Okay, I'm supposedly, allegedly about to get this money that's gonna come through, so I'm gonna go ahead and spend it. It's like, you big dummy, why are you spending money before you get it? And so that's kind of what comes to mind for me. You didn't put any money up, and then obviously, and then I'm sure somebody has said this. I see y'all comments. I'm gonna get to them. Why are you buying a house you can't afford? You know what I mean? Did you go get the biggest house? I think he lives in New York, so I know New York real estate is expensive, and you're a movie star, so you're not gonna be living in nothing shabby, right? You probably living in Manhattan, Fifth Avenue, or the penthouse, or whatever the case is. But it's like, if you couldn't afford that penthouse, what you doing up in there? So again, it's very telling and eye-opening as to who exactly is rich. Clearly, a lot of actors and writers and a whole host of people, they're not actually as rich as we thought they were, right? So I'm going to get to your comments, and we'll see if Walter or Donovan will pop in here eventually. If not, it's just going to be us, and that's cool. All right, so let's see who else came on here. And LSU says, Demetri, too bad, so sad. Billy, better stay off the makeup and nails. That stuff is expensive. Well, I want to say this, because we know that Billy Porter is, very flamboyant. He's a gay man, right? And I think he should be allowed to be gay. You know what I mean? Because to me, him being gay has nothing to do with him being broke. I think those are two separate issues, because there's a lot of people who aren't gay that are in his situation. So I'm sure that stuff is expensive, but Billy Porter is no different than Boom Quisha or anybody else, got the $500 wig and nails and all that stuff done, but she going home and her lights are off. So, he's kind of the same. So I don't know how much him being gay has to do with him being broke, if that makes any sense. Ron, how you doing? He says, living within our means may be humbling, but humility will keep your ass in check and off the street. Yeah. That don't, if you ain't got it, don't buy it, on credit or any of that kind of, like, for me, I would never buy a house that I'm struggling to pay the mortgage, or God forbid I missed a day or two of work. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my bills or my mortgage. I would just have something humble, just for me or whatever. I don't need no big monstrosity of no house, right? I don't need what's like behind me. That's Madam C.J. Walker's house, but she had that kind of money, right? Hello, Rain, how you doing? And Ella, she says, Hollywood making helly weird movies. They need a vacation. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be on repeat and things like that. And that's going to kind of suck for movie goers, I guess, because there's not going to be anything in production. So, Damon, how you doing? It says positive vibes to all in the chat. Miss K getting her glow on. Well, thank you. It's more lighting than anything. Rain says, AKA Silly Porter. Wow. Demetria, how you doing? And PGH, big dog, what's going on? He says, where is the LGBT to help him? What? There's a lot of LGBTQ people that's in the same shoes he's in. He's not the only one, right? Because Billy, I think, is just one of the ones that we know of. He has the notoriety, right? But there's a whole host of people in his community that are actors and writers and performers or whatever that are going through the same thing. So, you know, and yeah, he's married. So I don't know what his husband does or any of that. Um, and Patty, how you doing? He says, nah, he had to be broke before this strike. Yeah, you struck it big because, as I said, Billy Porter is not new. He's been on the scene kind of, sort of, but he was a singer in the 90s. And then we recently kind of saw him emerge. I don't know, with like the last 8 years or so. So yeah, I tend to think you're onto something. Maurice, how you doing? He says recently divorced, now selling home. Well, oh, he's divorced now? Oh my God, I didn't know that. Rain says, didn't Silly Porter just have a divorce? I didn't know that. So maybe his husband took him for half. Wow. Cutthroat Naj, how you doing? Thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you for that. He says those Democratic checks dried up for him. Oh, so was he on the Democratic choo-choo train selling black people out as well? And Mallow Factor, how you doing? He says, what black folks going to see this guy's work? I actually don't have a problem with Billy Porter. He's actually a really good actor. He really is. He's a little bit too flamboyant for my taste, but I think he's an excellent actor. He really is. So I don't personally have a problem with Billy Porter, but it sucks for anybody that is going through that has to sell their house. Imagine having to sell your house, where you live and you build memories and stuff simply because you cannot afford it. So if he's getting a divorce, then I'm sure, there's way more to the story, right? Walter has entered the building. All right, so let me continue on reading these comments. And Demetrius says, all the eye batting he do, I thought he was wealthy. Yeah, I think a lot of people thought that, right? And Dave, how you doing? Says Billy Porter is getting a divorce, so have goes to his ex-partner. Don't feel sorry for him. Yeah, see, I didn't know he was getting a divorce because last time I saw him and his husband were booed up all up on the red carpet and all that stuff. And that doesn't seem like it was that long ago. So, yes, Freddie, the illusion of wealth. And here, not us, but a lot of people who aren't celebrities are influenced by celebrities who ain't got no money, right? You see them with the latest this, that, and the other. Oh, I got to have that too. Do you see the shoes that he have on, or the purse that she got? And they're like, they barely got that stuff. Ain't no telling how much stuff those people are hawking at the pawn shop, right? So you're absolutely right. Illusion of wealth. And Rain says, at least he doesn't have to sell his pussy. You crazy. Oh my God. Yeah, he wilding. And Jimmy James, thank you so much for the donation. Love it. Appreciate you for that. He says, I don't feel bad for him. They endorse Democrats that hurt everyday people like us. Now they're hurting like us. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're right with everybody else, right? And that Hollywood strike is actually it's going to be a big trickle down effect. It's going to affect everybody. They say it's even affecting things here in Texas. So it's going to get really, really crazy. Complex Blackness, how you doing? And Mallow Factory says, I wouldn't pay to see him. That's your choice. And Kay, Ukta, I hope I said that right. How you doing? He says the universe has a way of humbling you. Yeah, and you know what though? We all better get right because nobody's exempt from being humbled, right? King of Sorrows, how you doing? He says fame and wealth, two totally different things. You ain't lying. And Tracy says save 6 to 12 months of living expenses. And nowadays people will say, oh, that's kind of hard to do, And Jen Jones, how you doing? He says how broke, because their broke is not the same as regular people. And that is true. Like I said, maybe he has a very expensive mortgage and now it sounds like, he's getting a divorce. So maybe he's just like, well, let me salvage what I have. But he said he's living, paycheck to paycheck. So, hey, Brother Samuel, how are you doing today? And Damien says he could put his face on a box of you wildin' Fruit Loops. Y'all ain't right. And Genia says, thought he lived in Harlem with his man. So maybe I know he's in New York, so I'm not quite sure where. Black America. You say things B Pooter can do for extra money. This is a scary list. You better stop. Vinny Van, how you doing? Thank you so much. I love and appreciate you for that comment. And 1619 Brood, how are you? Says Wealthy has a house to sell. What a blessing. That is true. And you know, the other thing is, will somebody buy it? Can anybody really afford to buy it? Depending on where it is, you know, because Harlem has been gentrified. Hey Morgan, how you doing? That's my niece, y'all. And Rain says, why is he broke with all that? Yeah. Can we for a second remove his sexuality from his finances? Jimmy says he got the HIV too. Oh Lord have mercy. So he can't get that medicine. Y'all, you know what? OM 648. He says, I don't feel sorry for him. Okay. Let me skip down a little bit. Bama Boy, how you doing? He said he's just trying to get out of paying Zaddy. Well, you know, you might. Arneva, how are you doing? Greetings to you as well. Robin, what's going on? He says, so he's living above his means like the most of us. Yeah, that's why I'm saying him being a gay man really has nothing to do with, at least I don't know, nothing to do with his finances. You're right. He's like a lot of us who are like, wow, I better not miss a day of work. Yes, OM, he says, trying to keep up with the Joneses. And LS, he says, Demetra, Billy, better sell some of them dresses, pants, and shirts are cheaper, laughing my ass off. Well, you know what the other thing, like I said, you better hope you ain't in his situation to where you got to sell some stuff you don't want to sell, right? Because they say that a lot of people say the saying is in the Bible, but it's not. But it says, there, but for the grace of God, there go I, right? Basically saying, thank God I'm not in that situation because I very easily could be, but I'm not. So I give all, glory to God that is not me. But we should be careful of how we speak on people who are having a bad time or down on their luck, because it could be you one day. You never know. And Money Rich, how you doing? It says live below your means always. Absolutely. Easy E, how you doing? Mike Lewis, what's going on with you? Says, well, he better familiarize himself with ramen noodles, Wonder Bread, mayonnaise sandwiches, Wilder's flavor, not Kool-Aid, but Wilder's, and Chef Boyardee and Ja Tony. What's going on? Thank you so much. And J Fitness Health, he says, oh, thank you so much. I love and appreciate you for that. And Money Rich says, no, his husband filed for divorce. Did not know that. GLS, what's going on with you? Says Demetra K is actually like you said. Can't he do anything else? We used to say there's always work at the post office. You ain't lying. I mean, we should like have multiple streams of income. Yes, Tracy, he is an excellent singer. I don't know if you guys ever heard him sing, but he can sing. And let's see here. Rain says he should just get. I ain't gonna read no more of your bussy comments. And Kimmy says, so his house is $1.4 million. Okay. And that's depending on where it is, that's a pretty good amount house. And Kim, how you doing? Says, find time to get a divorce. 2 are better than 1, especially living in New York. Yes, indeed. And 381 Black says, hello, everybody. And it's wonderful to see you again, Miss Demetra K. And wonderful to see you as well. Annie, how you doing? He said he's broke. Ain't normal people broke. Right. Arneva says Big Money Walt should have been his advisor. Yeah. And Queen of Spades, how are you doing? Brina, what's going on? He says, I remember him saying in an interview that he experienced homelessness. He should be happy with a check. Yeah, I've heard that as well, too. And Yawade, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Shalom to you as well. And let me just skip down a little bit. Story time, what's going on? The law firm of Chance and Pettigrew, what's going on? He says, oh, wait, all that flamboyant crap ain't keeping money in his pocket. Yeah, sounds like. Angela, how you doing? Says it's important to, if possible, to save a year in advance or going on a strike. Yeah, and I guess they just decided to help the writers, so it's kind of impromptu. And Walter, Brother Reddy, saying salute to you. And Harmony, peace, and peace, tranquility. How you doing? He says, Billy said, I'm looking forward to the next adventure. She's back on the market looking for an English husband. And you have to spell it like that, husband. You crazy. Did he really say that? Grace, how you doing? He says, Cry Me a River. And Jimmy, thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you. He says you better start eating peanut butter and sandwiches to save money. Mr. Pirate Brain, how you doing? It says so Billy Porter didn't secure the bag. Well, it sounds like I don't know what his husband did, so don't give me the lying. Dave says, did Billy Porter owe the IRS? I don't know. And Damon says that's so yeah, that KY jelly sandwich is wrong, very wrong. Annie says he has more resources than the average person. He'll be all right. Maybe DJ PD News, how are you doing? And Lord Flawless rather, he says if go broke was a person, ha ha ha. Y'all better quit laughing at other people's misfortunes. So Walter, what you got on the topic?
Well, first of all, you know, Billy Porter is my favorite actor. I don't wish nobody pain. But, you know, when I was working in the industry, I saw a lot of that stuff anyways. I saw them all living like that. You know, the bill come, everybody looking crazy, even though some of these people got TV shows. And it's just that I got to please everybody, look a certain way. And it's the death of the human race. It just, with Billy Porter, he's so flamboyant. You know, when somebody behaves that way, you just assume they got money forever. You know, you walk out the house and you have $40,000 on, $2,000 in eyelashes. You know, it's embarrassing. Like how many celebrities have to keep going through this? And I'm not celebrities, doctors, lawyers, plumbers. Everyone goes through it. It's just worse when you are. I don't know. I feel all kind of ways about Billy Porter. So this is really tough for me to try and be biased or unbiased. But a lot of those celebrities they're getting ready to feel that. There's one thing when you messing with the house, you messing with the producers in the studios, they got the chips. And you know, and these people sign these contracts, and I believe the actors and all that should get paid fairly. Let me ask you a question. If you make $3 million last year, is it safe to say that you should save some of that? Like how many episodes do you have to see behind the music and this and that before you say, okay, you know what? I need to put some money away. I have zero sympathy for someone that made $5 million in the last 2, 3, 4 years and don't have none of it saved. So, and why would he go on and tell the world he's living check to check anyways? Should we start a GoFundMe?
Well, he was saying it because he basically said, F you to Billy Eiler. He is the CEO of Disney, and he went on Squawk Box, was it CNBC or whatever?
Oh, Bob Iger.
Yeah, Bob Iger, and said, well, we'll basically starve them and force them when they start losing their apartments and their houses, then they'll come back. So he's basically saying we're not going to give in to their demands. They want a cut of the streaming. They do not want AI, you know, to replace the writers, and you know, they want bigger residuals. And also, they're saying too for background actors who may work for a day. The studio now is saying, well, we'll pay you for the day, but we own your image forever, so we can manipulate that image. We can do whatever we want and not have to pay you anything else. And so that's why he disclosed that. And Billy Porter basically said, now, you know, Billy Iger, you got your wish. I am one of those people that's now losing my home. So that's why he disclosed it.
Well, Bob Iger has nothing to do with him. He's a studio chief. He's the CEO of Disney. He's giving these guys jobs, and they make millions of dollars. And AI is affecting all of us. Like, I can't strike, or the guy that used to write content, or the person that goes on and writes newspaper articles that now AI is doing. I mean, everyone's going to be affected by AI. And you know what blows me away is that AI hasn't taken these actors' jobs. I'm surprised it's taken this long. I mean, we had Max Headroom in the 80s. I'm surprised we're still using people. So the problem is, I don't know.
That's tricky.
Again, if you make money, put it away. They're, you know, asking these executives of these studio heads. First of all, when you go into entertainment, you sign a contract with these guys. You sign a contract, and they tell you take it to your lawyer, but they be so hungry for the money they take it. And in that, there's nothing that they're doing that is not in the contract. They clearly say we can use your image, your likeness. It's clearly in writing, and we can use it. And they use the word in perpetuity. That's what happened with Prince, and that's why he went through all that, because he signed a contract that says we own your image in perpetuity, and they all sign it. So what's happening is when they're broke and they're coming up, they're like, "Oh yeah, this is big money," but then they change their minds later and say, "Oh, we want more." So how fair is that to be able to say, "Yeah, I want to change my contract"? Now, if they're just beating you, yeah, they should treat you right. Like Dave Chappelle, sounds like he had a little more skin. He had a little more skin in the game. They were just putting his shit all over the place. And even with the Dave Chappelle thing, Netflix and those guys gave in. Dave Chappelle didn't strike. He just said, "Hey, don't watch my stuff on Netflix," and they ultimately gave in. So I have zero sympathy for this brother that made all this money, as flamboyant as he is and destructive as he is to the black race, to then sit around and cry about not living check to check. That is an embarrassment and a further detriment to our race, that this dude, who is representing men and women and everybody in between, and is now our financial representative. Like, wouldn't it be nice for black people if we had somebody that was actually a positive financial role model? Like, do we have any that we don't destroy? Like, this is madness.
Well, I don't. Who's destroying? Who are we destroying?
I'm talking about Billy Porter. Like, it's bad enough as it is. Like, next week, if I showed up in a dress and a tutu, some of y'all would have a problem with that. Even if you're okay with me switching my gender, which I don't even think that's fair, because men don't switch their gender. They don't have menopause, periods. They don't have all the stuff with cramps. They don't have all that stuff, buying makeup, Botox, eyebrows.
Oh, yes, they do.
Okay, they got some of that stuff. They have the self-inflicted stuff, like women wearing makeup, which is madness to me. Because if I wake up with you, the way you look is the way I'm cool with, but that's a whole nother story. But what would Maybelline do? Women held on to their true beauty. But back to Billy Porter. So I'd like to know how much money he made over his lifetime.
I just looked and said he's worth about $5 million. So a net worth of this year. So I don't know if that's going to change or what.
Shit, he's worth $5 million. Well,
but he's going through a divorce too, it sounds like. So I don't know what that means.
Okay, so he's going to be worth 2.5 minus lawyer fees. But even, let's say hypothetically, he cashed out at $1 million, which wouldn't even make him that broke, because at $1 million at 5% interest is still $4,000 a month. The problem is those people in their lifestyles are so heavy that $4,000 a month seems to them like, oh Lord, how could I? But like the average person could live well on $4,000 a month. If you, like, for instance, if you're going to be stuck and all you had is $4,000 for the rest of your life, you could give everything back, cars, everything, and you can live comfortably on $4,000 a month. Your credit would be jacked up for the next 7 to 10 years, but you could do it. You could survive. And so I don't understand why a lot of these guys just don't say, you know what, I'm going to take what I have left, put it somewhere, buy me, like Billy Porter, if he had $1 million, he could go out and buy 2 apartment buildings, at $50,000 a door. That would give him 20 doors, 20 people paying him rent. He could probably keep his eyelashes. You know what I'm saying? With that kind of money. So I have zero sympathy for these people, because this stuff, and the fact that they were on CNBC, was Billy Porter on CNBC or Bob Iger?
I think his name is Billy Iger. Is that his name?
Bob Iger. Yeah,
Bob Iger. Yeah.
CEO of Disney.
Okay.
And yeah, I doubt he went on TV and said they're gonna have to play plays. I mean, I'd have to see it.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, I find it hard to believe that he was on there disrespecting them that bad.
He said that. He's basically saying we're not going to give in to their demands. It is what it is. Guess there's some people saying, where do we get the money from? But Fran Drescher, who is the president of the Actors Guild, she says that the CEOs, it's greed because they're getting all this money. It's being funneled to the top, but it's not actually being funneled to the people that actually help them make the money. But it's like, yeah, that's kind of how it works outside of Hollywood as well, right? Talk to employees at Walmart. They'll have the same gripe. But I agree to your point, is because it's funny because Deanna, she was showing me some TikTok of some guy who's a millionaire already, and he locked up all of his assets and moved out of his home and stuff, and he went on the streets. And he was like, I guarantee you that I will make money and, figure out how to live. And so I guess a lot of people in the comment section were like, oh, well, if he doesn't have the same struggle, he's a millionaire. Now, I guess in the back of his mind, he's like, I have those things, but he, made sure he didn't have any access to that stuff. And I say, you know what, Deanna, it's funny that you say that people are mad. I said, because Walter says the same thing. Walter says, if you put me out on the street and if I was homeless or whatever, he says, I guarantee you I would end up, making some money and be back on top, or at least, be able to take care of myself in a short amount of time. And I remember somebody asked you, how would you do it when we was doing the war zone? And you said, I was somewhere, somehow, get me a white, crisp, clean shirt, some, clean pants, get me a squeegee, and a rag and spray bottle. Now I wait at the gas station. I make an agreement with the gas station. Do you mind if I'm here? I'll give you a percentage of what I make if I can, help clean people's windshields or whatever the case is. And he says, I would build from that point. So what I'm saying is, I agree that where there is a will, there's a way. And for somebody like Billy Porter, who, if he has $5 million or give or take, he is still doing better than most. And so also when I hear a lot of these celebrities and these actors talk about, oh my gosh, what I'm going to do, I don't have any money, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you telling us? Oh, you talking to us? There's a lot of people on the ground floor that can't even pay, buy gas for the week. But yet, I don't know, you got some sort of access to something. The other argument too is a lot of the actors can't afford health care. Like they can't afford a lot of basics or whatever because they're just not being paid enough. So there's a lot of levels to this, but I just want to just say I don't make jest or light or fun of anybody who is in dire straits with anything. Because as I said, it could easily be me. And I would not want anybody laughing at me or thinking it's funny that I'm down on my luck. So I don't want anybody to think I'm saying that.
You know what we ought to do? Well, let me back up. I ain't gonna say that. Somebody mentioned something about saving a percentage of your income, like 6 to 12 months. What you could do is you could start getting rid of things, which makes it easier for you to get to that 6 to 12 months. Or you could buy, it doesn't have to be. See, here's the problem with having that much cash for 6 to 12 months. First of all, most people aren't going to do that. They're not going to do that. It's too much for people. So what if you owned a piece of land somewhere that was worth $100,000? And if the stuff hit the fan, you could just sell that land. That way, you don't have to have cash sitting around, because most people aren't going to have $60,000, $70,000 in cash that's just sitting there doing absolutely nothing. They want to put that to work. So you keep something that you can sell if times got tough, which is getting ready to happen in the economy now, like the real estate market. Savings are at an all-time low. Debt, credit cards, car repossessions are at an all-time high. It's getting really nasty. So people are going to start selling their assets, land, cars. So those are things that you'll be able to pick up cheap. So if you have something that's of value, you know that you can sell it. And so that's the best way, in my opinion, to keep that 6 to 12 months. I mean, you should have a couple months of cash. You should have liquid assets. If you have a couple months in the bank and then you have some mutual funds and stocks, even if the stocks are getting killed, if you was going to be butt naked on the street with Bojangles, then you would then obviously sell those stocks. Right. So that would be the best way to keep, in my opinion, a cash reserve. So your money's not just sitting there doing nothing. And as far as people saying they can't save money, that is going to be the death of you. Do you guys understand? There's this, if you watch The Diary of a CEO, he's a brother in London. Great show. It's called Diary of a CEO. He's interviewing this guy, one of his latest episodes on AI. And he's basically breaking down how AI is coming for everyone's job. He's laying it down like, and it's not going to be 10 years. It ain't going to be 20 years. He's talking like 1 year, 2 years.
It's already happening.
Yeah, they're talking about this web point 3.0 that is just going to take, like right now you have these robots and the AI that can, like I have this, I downloaded it last night. I just got tired of hearing about it. And I could say, give me a speech in the voice of Barack Obama talking about why black people need to stop bitching about being slaves and start a business. And it will break it down and it will give it to me in 30 seconds. So that stuff is happening. So for those of you who write content, those of you who work in grocery stores like Walmart and places like that, they're replacing you. I mean, drivers, truck drivers, Uber drivers, Lyft, I mean, you name it. And you know, like you can go through an automated car wash right now. I did it today. No human being there. $7, got my car washed and dried off. No human involved. That is automation. So if you really think that you have 5 years to get your shit together, you are doomed. I woke up this morning feeling, whoa, I got about 2 to 3 years to save as much money as I can, so that I can take that money, move to Spain, Africa, Ethiopia. Um, I heard they have the most beautiful women in the world, but not that that's the only reason I'm moving there. But that is my thought process. I got about 2 to 3 years to save all the money I can before AI says, you know what? We got this. We got that. In 2 years, you have an AI person sitting on the screen doing a podcast. They're already doing it. And matter of fact, if you Google, there's this robot that was playing ping pong with this world champion. If you Google it, I don't know if I sent it to you. So this robot is boom, 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 boom. And then the robot hits the ball to the dude on that side. Just to talk about a world champion, he runs to the other side to chase the ball, and the robot just kind of looks over and goes, "Bam!" Like some shit we would do. Like, good luck, fool. I mean, like the robot clown not only beat him, but clowned him at the same time. We're talking about artificial intelligence, and that is right now, and that's just the stuff that we've seen. So some of you guys that are working those jobs, either get ready to move in with your mama, your uncle, somebody, find you a nice sidewalk that's comfortable. You know, some of them have coverings, and maybe you can move to a warm state so you can sleep on the street. I mean, that's what's coming for a lot of people. So, as far as these actors, you know, us trying to feel sympathy, I get it. Some of them, yeah, are being done wrong. But like, you made $5 million last year, the year before, and you don't have nothing to show for it. You don't get to come out and talk about like you live in check to check. And yeah, Bob Iger makes $80,000 a day. But here's what I tell people: how many jobs has Disney created? I mean, and there's something called the brain drain. You know, if you start cutting executives' pay, you get people that aren't as good, and then the company suffers and people get laid off. So I'm not against a dude making $100,000 a day, $80,000 a day, as long as there's the million people or however many hundreds of thousands of people at Disney stay employed. I think that's more important than going after. And by the way, they brought Bob Iger back to run Disney. He was already retired. They brought him back like, please, baby, baby, come back. So, and he's not the one that created this. Bob Iger, I mean, he hasn't been at Disney for 50 years, not running it. So,
So Damon says, what stocks and TFs are out there to invest in? You have one that you know of?
I'm not investing in any stocks, any EFTs. I took all my money out the stock market. Right now, I don't understand what's going on. The market is high. There's a lot of stuff going on with real estate, interest rates. And so what I'm doing with the money I have, I'm just using it to buy things to sell for a higher price. That's what I'm doing. That, and I'm putting it in real estate currently. But if I was going to buy stocks and I mean, I wouldn't do ETFs. What I would do is I would find something that you could follow every day. Like, for instance, if you follow Facebook stock, pick a company that's big, that has a lot of shares outstanding and moves every day, like a Facebook, a Tesla, you know what I'm saying, IBM, Amazon. Find a stock that moves and has a zillion shares trading That way you can get in and out really quick. Because Tesla's gonna move all over the place. So it's I don't know what Amazon's doing. Facebook, I got out of Facebook. I think the beginning of the year I sold all the Facebook I had. So pick one stock and follow it. Another thing I would do is I'm trading the when I do trade, I trade the ETF. I mean, not the ETF, the VIX, the VIX, which is a volatility index. It's a fear index that they use to monitor the S&P. So as the S&P becomes more volatile, the VIX moves. So the VIX could be $11. It could be $12, $13, $17. I've seen it as high as 70 when like fear is through the roof. Like during the pandemic, the VIX shot up. It could easily go from 12 to 50 during the pandemic, or the 2000 or 2008, somewhere along those lines. So I would pick something like that if I was going to get into stocks and bonds. But I really think that stuff, some of that stuff, most of you guys need to put on hold unless you have your real estate down. I would focus my energy on buying a piece of real estate. Like if I were to go now and start my life over, like if I was her age, I would be like, I'm going to build my credit and I'm going to do everything I can to buy as much real estate as I can. Get me some apartment buildings. You can buy, I know Texas, maybe not Texas, or maybe Texas, I don't know, Louisiana, Alabama, assuming it's not too close to the boat party. I would get me a piece of property. If I bought a 4-unit, let's say for $50,000 each, that's $200,000. In order to buy a $200,000 piece of property, I need 3% down. I need $6,000. So I would be like, Dad, Mom, I need $6,000. Or I'd call all my friends. I need $6,000. We're going to buy this apartment building together and we're going to manage it. It may take us some time to get it going. But in a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we have 4 units. We have 4 people paying us rent. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Ja, how you doing? Says, yo, Walter, if I were you, I'd move on Sister D, forget Ethiopia, most beautiful right there. Well, thank you so much for that. Says, shoot your shot. I'm side-eyeing you, bro. Well, you can't do that. It's not legal. And Walter's actually my brother.
Man, that's funny. It took me a minute to catch up to that.
But thank you. I love and appreciate you for that comment. But yeah, Walter's my brother.
That's funny. Nothing wrong with that. I appreciate it. Next comment.
I saw this. Let's see here. And hello to everybody that has come on here. Let me go back to this one. So, Keisha, you say, listen, they have to regulate this just like they regulate every other intellectual property. I heard something the Biden administration a couple of months ago was saying, or Congress, I don't know, somebody, that they got to find a way to regulate AI. But it's like, are they really interested in regulating it? Because if you ask me, in like the Biden administration saying, oh, we got this rich labor market, we got all these jobs, we just don't have people to work it. To me, I would think AI would solve that problem, right? Now, of course, we know when they're talking about jobs, they're not talking about something that's will help you, sustain your lifestyle. They talk about Taco Bell and your Walmarts and all those things. And so I don't know. I just think that would make the job easier. And plus, we know that eventually they'll get a kickback. Be some AI lobbyist somewhere, if not already, in Washington, influencing them, to do otherwise. And then, Brina, you say, how far will people go and misuse AI? That will be dangerous. We're already there. James Cameron, who directed the Terminator, I did a short about him saying this, and a lot of people was like, oh, it's a black lady who wrote it. I was like, I never said that James Cameron wrote the movie, and neither did he. He directed the movie Terminator. He says, I tried to warn y'all in 1984 that, AI was going to be dangerous. And here we are, right? Here we are. And AI is everywhere, right? I mean, anything you can think of, it's here. If you got a watch, Apple Watch or whatever, it's AI. Your phone is AI. Everything around you, for the most part, is AI. So they say that all AI needs to do is become self-aware. Satiant is what they call it. I think that's how you say it. To where they have feelings and they know who they are, and they'll say, We don't need you humans, just like the Terminator. It's literal, and they've have cases where robots have said, "I know who I am. I have feelings. Don't turn me off." And one robot was telling, I guess the person that was working with him, "I love you. Leave your wife for me." So they fired him, but he's like, "Listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, these mugs got feelings. They know who they are. So it's just a matter of time." Of course, we talk about it all the time. Those airplanes that crashed in 2019, I think it was, it said the pilots could not override the computer, AI. And those planes went into a straight nosedive. The pilot could not override the computer. So, not trying to freak you guys out, but it's already here. Uh, let's see here. Let me skip down a little bit. Search for Spock. How you doing? He says Biden crime economics is destroying our country. Wake up. I do agree with you on that. And Trey D, how you doing? Says he living check to check. Where is his white boyfriend, or he getting divorced? Yeah, he's getting divorced. His husband. And Big Harry says, "Oh, that cat was living off him. Now the money is gone. He's gone." I don't know. And Kate says AI is dangerous. What are humans supposed to do? What will the effect on the economy be? Like, this is too crazy. Well, they're replacing humans. And the kings of AI, Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking, he's no longer here. Bill Gates and all of them, they all have said, they've gone on record saying, "I am afraid of AI." And they said it would behoove us as humans to learn how to get along with them, because they will get to a point to where they take over and it will be at their mercy. And Elon Musk is the wealthiest man in the world due to AI. And he says, yeah, it concerns me. Like, I don't know. For me, I'm not saying to try to freak anybody out driving a Tesla, but I would kind of think twice. I don't know. Just that's just me. Uh all right, let's see. And Dingle Man, how you doing? It says Billy Porter is broke. He said he's living check to check. Those were his words. Uh Yes, that's Walter's daughter. That's Miss Morgan. And Jimmy says, Walter, have you heard of Fed now? The money is going digital and will be controlled by the government. Goodbye, financial freedom. And let me get to the rest of this before you answer this. Brain, you crazy. And Keisha says, it's the same problem as the streaming of music had to be reeled in and governed. Yeah, you're talking about Napster and all of that. But I think streaming is a little different. I know because that as such a streaming with the music was dealing with intellectual property. Pirating is what it was. But AI, this thing here, as far as AI doing everything, that's a different story. Because let's be honest, uh, AI has made life convenient for everybody, right? Before, you needed to get a ride to the airport, you have to call a taxi cab and hope one's available. Now you go right to your phone, order a ride, and you can have a Uber to your house in 2 minutes if one is nearby. So it's it's the convenience of it all, which is why I think they'll have a hard time regulating it. And start page, he says, obviously speaking to somebody else. And how you doing, by the way? And Brina says, ask Chat GPT question about the end of the world or taking over, then get ready for nightmares. Nah, I'm good. I don't want to know. That's like playing with Ouija boards and all that. Hell nah, I don't want to know. And OM, says Babylon is doing its work as promised. Yeah. And MC Fact says, wait a minute, do they use AI in passenger planes? Yeah. A lot of those planes, and Donovan's a pilot, so he'll tell you a lot of those planes are the computer is doing the flying, if you will.
They've been using artificial intelligence in airplanes for decades. That's what autopilot is.
Mm-hmm.
Even I fly a Cessna, an older plane from the 70s, and that has artificial intelligence. It has autopilot on it. I put on the autopilot and I can just chill. So I mean, you guys, AI has been here for a long time. Like, think about this: when you Google something, what do you think that is? When something pops up on your phone, an ad, that's not a human being going, "Oh, wait a minute, Walter's on the internet. Send him this." That is artificial intelligence. It's been here for a long, long time. Now it's just they're allowing the everyday person to now use it. Kids can use it for their papers, which means now teachers are at risk because honestly, there's a lot of teachers in the classroom you don't need. If I was 4 years old and I had my way, I would just take me and a bunch of my little friends and we would go to a cool classroom with playgrounds and all kind of food and drinks, and we would watch YouTube all day. Between YouTube, Treehouse, oh my, there's so many um, platforms where you could go learn without school. I learned more stuff on YouTube and some of these other. What's the big platform, the education platform? You pay a monthly fee and you can learn all kinds of stuff. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a platform. It's like a school, and there's zillions of things. Even things like the master class. Remember that all the celebrities were doing the master class for
Mhm.
a while? That's what I would do. And a lot of that stuff is already on there. It's artificial intelligence. I'm telling a lot of these teachers and professors their job, because people are going to start getting to the point where, like, do I really need to know um, about Columbus? What is known about Columbus have to do with my future? Besides that, he murdered a lot of our ancestors. You know what I'm saying? So, like, a lot of those positions I think are going to fade because we'll be to the point where we have to make a decision. Do I want to spend a year learning about history for 2 hours a day? Or do I want to use that time and learn how to take care of myself?
What's it called? Skillshare,
That's one of them. There's a bunch of them. There's Skillshare.
Masterclass,
There's a lot of stuff. There's one before Skillshare. It's older.
Hana Academy.
Yeah, this my point. There's a million of them. That's my point. You can go through all those things before you walk into a classroom. I've learned more on YouTube than I learned. I mean, I learned English and math in school, sure, but could I take like one of my grandkids, like Titus or Lily, and sit them in front of? We watch YouTube and watch math for 3 hours a day. And we could get it absolutely. So what do we need the teacher for? And we don't let our teachers deal with the kids. We don't let them discipline or talk to them the right way. So the teachers don't even have any power. What are they doing there anyways?
Yeah, some of these badass kids might need a robot in the classroom.
Yeah, because you can't sue a robot.
Yeah. King of Sorrow says, question, do other countries have the same problem with AI, or is this mostly an American problem? I don't see any other countries speaking on it.
I don't know.
I would say that maybe it's not as bad, but it's all over the world, right? I would imagine you can find a Tesla just about anywhere. Amazon is all over the world. A lot of their things are automated, AI and all that. So I don't know if it's just as bad, but it's about world domination ultimately, right? Like when they do drone strikes, who is doing that? Well, how is that being done? It's artificial intelligence, right? They can program it where to go and all of that, and it does it. So I would imagine most countries
With that connect
have the
TikTok.
ability to do those things. So it ultimately AI taking over is about world domination. That's what it's about, and depending on what source you believe, potentially getting rid of humans. So and a start page, it says, Musk said that AI is more dangerous than, say, mismanaged aircraft design or production maintenance or bad car production, and that it has a potential of civilization destruction. Yes, right. And he's been saying that a long time. Of course, Stephen Hawking, who was a physicist and philosopher, and he delved into AI and all of that. Again, he's no longer here. He said the same thing. Humans are pretty, stupid to not try to figure out how to get along with AI. But of course, now can you imagine if somebody says, we're going back to being an analog world, right? We're not going to do with AI anymore. People will lose their mind. Lose their mind if they say we're getting rid of AI. And Jay.
Well, and here's the other thing too. Government needs AI so they can keep an eye on us. I think that's one of the reasons it's got to where it is. They can watch us. AI is everywhere. You look up, there's lights everywhere, cameras. It's artificial intelligence running all that stuff.
And let me address this in MC Fact. How you doing if I didn't already? He said, so basically, it's dangerous to travel by planes. Well, I don't want people to think that it's dangerous to travel by planes. We know that airplanes have less crashes than cars do. They're, deemed to be safer. But I don't want to freak you out even more. But if you're driving a newer car, let's say 10 years old at this point, and probably even older than that, it has some AI in that. I have a car. It's a 2013. I'm going to rock it till the wheels fall off. I tell you guys a story all the time. My transmission was kind of acting up. I thought I'd take it to the dealer and I would have them see if I needed to have it serviced, repaired, or whatever. I
He's not.
sat in the lobby for like 20 minutes, and the technician came back and says, "Oh, you're all ready to go. Yeah, we took care of your car." I said, "Well, what's wrong with it?" It says, "Oh, nothing. Your transmission is actually a computer, and it was driving the way it wanted to drive. So we just programmed it so you could control the car instead of the computer controlling the transmission." So I'm telling you that because AI is everywhere. It's in the cars, it's in everywhere, it's in airplanes, it's in trains, it's everywhere. So it's kind of unavoidable at this point. And I mean, and sometimes things happen, right? So I don't want to freak you out saying don't fly because then you'll drive. You know what I mean? So just so you know. Um,
I
and
mean,
let's see. Mhm.
airplanes are pretty safe. I mean, less people die in airplanes per ride than cars. I mean, the thing with Boeing, yeah, the AI took over the plane. The pilots couldn't turn the AI off, so it basically crashed. That's how those Boeing planes ended up, um, well, crashed because the AI took over. But it's already too late. Nothing we can do about it. Zero. Nothing we can do about it. If we can't get black people to stop saying blue no matter who, how in the hell are you gonna control AI? Some of us won't even save money, put money away. How are we gonna control something that is running by itself? Sometimes we just need to get back to Jamaica. I'm telling you, start by putting some money away. You guys, if you do not believe me, start watching some of these AI YouTube channels. The way they talk about AI, the way Elon Musk, they talk about AI. Like Elon is like, he's like, I started OpenAI, but him and Sergey from Google got into a disagreement, and Sergey called him a speciesist, which basically means, from what I got, like, why are you so concerned about the human species? You know what I'm saying? Like, almost like without saying it, he was like, Sergey's going rogue. For him to say that me and Sergey don't speak anymore for something they created together. Elon's like, Google is taking this shit to the next level, and I don't want to be a part of it. So,
Absolutely. And other thing too is, have you ever thought about why they going up, trying to go up to the moon and all that? It's like, do they know something we don't know? Like they're gonna go build another planet or world? Not that we're not one there, but go so they could live up there. And what's gonna happen? With the rest of us. But like you said, he's like, the hell with it's the human species. That's pretty deep because it's like, well, what do you know that you don't want us to know? Um, and Start Page says they've been slowly pushing AI onto you, like closing local banks and pushing the use of credit cards, which can be tracked. But again, it was done slowly. We are so busy. Yeah, it's like that frog in a boiling pot of water, right? The frog is in the water, and it's not too bad, right? It's doable. He's doing backstrokes in the water. Then the water gets a little bit hotter, and he's like, wow, it's getting a little warm in here, but it's all right. He adjusts. Then it gets hotter and hotter and hotter, and he keeps adjusting until he boils to death. And that's unfortunately how we are, not just as Black people, but as humans, right? We just acclimate. Like when the gas prices go up, right? People are like, oh my God, this is horrible. I can't afford it. What am I going to do? And they think that the powers that be, are going to say, okay, you know what? They're bitching and complaining. Let's lower the gas prices. The powers that be, they're like, they'll adjust. They always do. Right. And so people adjust. So now in California, people are, somehow, some way paying $6 a gallon for gas. And so that's just kind of, they bank on us being that way, just slowly adapting and adjusting. But in other countries, they turn up. They're like, okay, that's enough. We about to tear this place up. But here we just kind of, well, it's bad, but I'll make do, right? And Damien says planes are safer. We call them crowd killers. When I worked at Douglas Aircraft in Long Beach back in the day. Oh wow. And let's see here. Brina says, I was actually fascinated by it. Call me weird, but I love watching the delivery bots rolling around in Hollywood. Yeah, those are real creepy, if you ask me. And Stacy Galore, how you doing? Says, I am AI. Okay, so you telling us you're a robot? And Ollie Pamela's Way says, yes, Elon does Neuralink. And Ja, he says, AI is putting folks out of work, people over profit. Please. Yeah, tell that to the
Well,
corporations.
that ain't gonna ever happen. That those days are over, and even the people with power are getting put out of work. So yes, it's over. We are doomed. I'm telling you, it is over. And for those of the people that want to sit around and boom shakalaka, it's over. Like I can tell you what my plan is. I have 6 kids, 5 grandkids, soon to be 5. My plan is to save as much money as I can, buy as much real estate as I can, and then be in a position where I can cash some of that out and then ultimately be able to move to another country where it is cheaper. You can live in Portugal for $1,400 a month. You can live in Bali for $500 a month and eat out almost every day, live in a nice place. I mean, there's so many countries you could go to and live like a king for $1,000 a month. In the Philippines, there's some places in Africa where you could live well on next to nothing. And so part of my plan is to be able to do that. And some of us are going to need to do that because I don't know what's going on in America. We have gas prices high, inflation high, real estate high, everything is high. How are people doing it? Sooner or later, you're going to have this huge collapse, and the people on the bottom are going to get hurt the most. And I'm talking people in the streets, like you see in those future movies of people living in the street by the millions. That's where we are going. And so some of you guys living check to check who aren't in control of your money, one day you're going to walk into work and you're going to be like, here's Bob, the security guard. He's walking you out. This is your last minute at work. We already shut up your computers. I hope you get some money saved.
Oh, that's going on every day. Every
Mhm.
day, people are showing up to work and they're like, hey, ain't no work. It's been real. And it's not people who just started, it's people who have been at the job for years. I don't know if y'all saw Yellow, which is the third largest what is it? Delivery company. It's like UPS and FedEx is the third largest carrier or whatever it's called.
And they filed bankruptcy.
Yeah, and they're people. I did a video of a brother. He was there for 30 years, and they got him all together and says, "Oh, that pension ain't gonna be no pension." And he lost the stuff, right? He was like, "I've been here for 30 years. What do you mean?" And he was just besides himself, which he should be, right? But that could happen.
Yeah,
30 years in your retirement.
the pension is cold. The pension is supposed to be protected by ERISA. It's supposed to be protected by the government. So if he's got a qualified pension plan that was taken, that's a government problem because those are protected. They have insurances and things for that. But it goes to saying you should be responsible for what's going on with your retirement and your pension. I got into one of my friends. I got into her dish. She goes, "Oh, my 401k, I don't really know what it's doing." I was like, "What kind of fool are you? The money that's going to take care of you in your old age, you have no idea what it's doing." I don't even know why we still kicking it. I can't even be around people like you. That's exactly what I said to her. And I was kind of joking, but kind of wasn't. So that is going to be a lot of people. Like this thing with Billy Porter and these actors. Yeah, a lot of them are going to be selling their homes because they're not ready. And that's why I don't like the whole union collective bargaining thing. Maybe not collective bargaining, but the whole union thing, because like now we all got to go down. Like I like my contracts. I made $1 million last year. I spent 75,000. Me and my wife on our lifestyle. I got my money stacked because you guys don't save and you signed the contract like I did. Now I need to stop. No, like if my neighbor's like, "Hey, Walter, we going on strike. I'm gonna stop working and I want you to shut your businesses down." I would say, "Kick rocks, homie." This is why I don't belong to a union, so I can keep control of my own life. Like you telling me you're a lighting guy working on movies, and now your income has stopped.
You see, UPS, they were striking, or about to strike, I think it was, and they were striking because they wanted the part-time workers to make a decent living. They said that UPS can afford it. So now, if I'm not mistaken, they're making like 30 something dollars an hour, and that's part-time, I think. And full-time workers are making at least $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
So,
they're giving them $50 an hour. Hmm.
mm-hmm.
But UPS is making money. They have the money. A lot of companies don't have that kind of money. And I guarantee you, UPS is getting something in return. Those guys aren't just laying around all lazy and getting a big bump. UPS is getting something in return. But UPS is like this. We're not tripping because we know the robots is coming for those jobs anyways. I'm giving you 50 today, but next year a robot is going to be doing your job. You're going to go out UPS truck, you're going to see a little robot out there waving, and you're going to get your packages. Matter of fact, on the same show, The Diary of a CEO, it's a brother from UK. He's got a bomb podcast. They were him and this guy who was like an AI specialist was really concerned. And he was just talking about like dating. And he was saying that like there was this company that they're made robot spouses, robot husbands, robot wives. These robots have they have like real body parts. Like my kid is here. I'm not getting into details, but like they have robots that talk to you. You come home, you can like send a message to your phone when I get home, have on panties and heels. And the robot, I mean, it freaked me out to watch it, but it's true. Like, yes, sir. Yes, Lord. And when I get home, call me sire. That's some weird shit, but that is where we're going. It's already happened in Canada. They have robot prostitute brothels where you can go in, pay to have sex with a robot. It's already there, and it seems really weird and freaky. But back in the days, 2,000 years ago, so was homosexuality. So was sleeping, being 30 and having an 18-year-old wife. Okay, maybe back then it was normal, but you get the point. There's things that are normal now that didn't used to be normal. So this progression of coming home to a robot that's sitting there at the table, like if I walked in and a robot was sitting there, I'd be booking down the street. But in 5 years, if my neighbor get one, I'm like, you know what? The silicone feeling like skin? I don't know. She don't need to argue. I can program her to be in argument mode, but I can turn it off. You know what I'm saying? Like those days are coming. So we need to start putting our money away, and we need to act like in 2 to 3 years we need to leave this place and go somewhere where we can live on our own. If you don't have a piece of land or a piece of real estate in the next 2 to 3 years, I'm telling you, you are going to be in major trouble. I'm following this company. It's called Tiny Homes on YouTube, Modular and Tiny Homes. And they're basically telling people, here's what you can do for $10,000. Get you a piece of land, and for $10,000, you can buy a kit home and you can build you a house for $10,000. They're called kit homes. And there's a bunch of companies that make them under $10,000 where you can build your own home, and then you put in electricity and water, solar panels, and boom. So let's call it 25,000 with water, electricity, everything. You have a house that is already done. It's not a big house, but maybe it's 400 square feet. But think about this. My downstairs, I think, is 16 by 40. That's 640 square feet. My downstairs. You know where I spend 90% of my time? Down here. That couch I sleep on 5 days a week. I fall asleep on the couch. I have my toothbrush, everything in this bottom bathroom, my master suite. I consider renting out on Airbnb. I got my studio, my candles, my Airbnb, my spare bedroom upstairs. But the point I'm making is People are getting ready to live in these small quarters. So if you own a piece of land and things get shitty, for $10,000, $20,000, you could build you a house, and they finance these too. For $500 a month, there's a company. I watched a YouTube video, and they will deliver the house to you already built. Bring it to your piece of land, already built for $500 a month. Brand new modern home, open windows, brand new modular construction, $500 a month. All you need is somewhere to put it. That's, I'm telling you, man, owning a piece of land is the thing. If you don't own a piece of land, it's going to be death to Smoochie. Because with a piece of land, even like, consider this, a lot of the RV companies are going bankrupt. These, you see, like if you see your neighbor that has a boat and an RV and they're struggling, what do you think they're doing with that RV? Giving it back. They're selling it cheap. So for another 10 to 15,000, you can get you a little RV and sit on your land. And if you own multiple pieces of property, you can drive to these different pieces of land. And you can, if you got a piece of land in Alabama, a piece of land in California, one in Texas, one in New York, you can just drive your RV to your properties and you could be home in those 4 spots. That's the new move. That's the sexy shit. Not Balenciaga, Gucci bag, this, that. It's going to be like the new, I think, in my opinion, is who has land and who has options. And everybody on this podcast can do that. Yeah, it takes some work to do. You got to get out and go look for it. But land is everywhere.
Absolutely. Let's see here. And Leonard, how you doing? He says those homes are made out of the same shipping containers we lived in Afghanistan and Iraq during the war. And Christ, Truth, Freedom, how you doing? It says, and Phillips and Flathead and DeWalt drill the small scale. And Tracy, how you doing? He says, hey, Dimitri and Walter, there's a guy in Atlanta that has a tiny home community. Is not completely finished, but they're nice. Yeah, I think I heard of that. I've seen it. A lot of people are doing the little tiny homes. And Roosevelt Brown, how you doing? It says, we better unite and separate. These idiots are destroying what is normal. I totally agree with you on that. And one who cares, how are you doing this evening? And Tony, you says property taxes add up, especially here in Texas. Mike Nice, how you doing? And Albie says trucking will get much worse due to the growth coming in the next 3 years. So y'all talking to Black America, because Black America, he's a truck driver. He's saying that we will not be replaced. Okay, we are here to stay. But y'all, I guess you guys are trying to tell him, well, I don't know. And Money Rich, he says, I have a Dodge Ram truck with a trailer, and that's good to have. And Albie says, we will be pushed out or they will try. Sister B, how you doing? Says, I look at tiny home shows. What's the channel? Walter, what's the channel where the tiny homes are?
It's called, let me look at it. It's called Modular. Let's see. There's a bunch of them on YouTube I follow, but there's one, and there's a bunch of them. I'll give you some of the people I follow, and you can go from there. Let's see. Okay, it's called Modular Homes. So it's called Modular Homes and Tiny Homes. So there's the that's one of the people I follow.
And the modular homes are, I guess kind of the way to go too. They're still, I guess they're probably getting up there now because people are looking for alternative places to live, but they're still relatively cheaper than, regular homes. I actually looked at some in California, just, like if I move back, like would I move in a modular home? I might, depending on, how it was built and all of that.
Well, modular homes are built better than stick-built homes because they're built in the factory with steel. There's not a lot of waste because they can do it in the factory, and so they could bring the home to your land. There's less waste. I'm telling you, it's a better way to go, and they're cheaper because they build them in the factory, and you know what your costs are going to be. So when you go to build a house, like for the home I have in Joshua Tree, we're talking to different contractors, and it may be this. It could be 300 square feet. It may be over. I'm like, oh, hell to the no. Or the modular home, they give you a price, and they're like, we will deliver it to your house, to your piece of land, and here's what it's going to cost to get it there, and here's the home. All you got to do is get it nailed to the foundation, connected to the water and electricity, and boom, boom. So you know what you're dealing with. So that's a modular home. Some of these homes are so wicked, and they can build them in 2 to 6 months. So that's what you're gonna want. And then I have another website I follow.
Thunder, you crazy. You talk about can the robots be I guess specially made? I saw you say can you get one with salt and pepper hair? Now you want one with the Eartha Kitt voice. Thunder. Thunder likes the more seasoned ladies, the ones that wear the slips and they like to grease your scalp,
Yeah, you could, all that stuff is there. And there's another guy I follow. His name is Kerry Tarno, and all he does is manufactured modular homes. So I'm telling you guys, this is the move. I felt a lot better today when I was watching this last video about the kit homes, because now my focus has gone from, I got to find, before I was thinking I want to have a home in the States, a home in Europe, a home in Africa, Asia. Now I'm thinking what I need to have is land in France, land in Spain, land in Ethiopia, land in Philippines, land in Thailand or Indonesia. Then because most of these tiny home companies, these modular home companies, the good ones, are in Europe. They're that way. They have to ship that stuff to the United States because they're Scandinavia. They're already over. They've been doing this for years. The United States, we're behind, and our politicians, they got to figure out how to get paid from it. Joe Biden, AOC, and them, they got to get their hands dirty before we can actually get somewhere that can help ourselves. So by owning the land, then all you got to do is get you a structure on there. So for instance, this home I saw, it is wicked too. I think I took a picture of it. It's for $500 a month. You get this brand new modular home, and I mean it is sick. So it's called the Allwood Palmer 3 Tiny House. It's that one, that's a different one. That's a kit that's like $9,000. So you can buy some of these homes. Even if you wanted it complete, you can buy one. Here's one. They sell some of these on Etsy, which is crazy to me. Let me see. I don't know if you can really see it, but this house here, that's a modular home that will sleep 4 people for $500 a month. So, and there's it's called Techlegent. That's the company. They have almost 8. How many? They're a brand new company. But what if you had 4 of those? For $2,000 a month, you have 4 houses. So if you have 4 pieces of land and you have 4 of these modular homes, that's a sick ass house. You had 4 of those for $2,000 a month. You have 4 houses, and you can rent 3 of them out on Airbnb while you're not there. You guys, this is the get rich shit that I'm telling you about. And you don't need a lot of money. All you need is the land, which you could buy for 10, 15, 20,000. And a lot of these landowners are what the hell? Oh, I was like, is he dressed? A lot of these landowners will let you pay on their land over time, and you just put your house on it. Anyways, what up, D? I ain't gonna ask you what you're doing. Or what was you doing?
Me in Hawaii.
I know where he's at. Oh, what's up, man?
You're on mute.
This military network is all jacked up. I got all these signals coming in and whatever. But anyway, sorry I'm late. I've been telling people, my grandfather will be 100 years old next month. And what better way to immortalize this man than to put him in the memorial here at Hawaii in Hickam, where World War II started, and he was a veteran. So that's why I was kind of late negotiating with that, because nobody knows what the hell they're doing here. Nobody knows their job. It's so sad. And this is our military.
So you're actually going to be going home for sure tomorrow? For real, for real? Uh-oh.
Yes, I will be going home tomorrow. There's 4 flights. 4.
Got you.
2 early in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 in the later afternoon, almost evening time. And they're all going to my dad's old flying squadron down at 352, the C-130 guys. And I got to call my mom because one of the C-130s is going to continue on to New Orleans. So I'm like, maybe I need to go see mom's real quick.
Go see your mama.
Yeah, so.
Let's see here. So everybody saying hello to you. Yeah, I mean, in regards to Billy Porter, and I seen somebody, I think they're watching it. Abigail, I think she might be behind us watching it. Billy Porter, has shared that he has to sell his house and he's living paycheck to paycheck due to the Hollywood strike. And it's very telling because, he's deemed to be a celebrity of some wealth. But I don't know, says he has it. And then I just learned too, Donovan, that he is going through a divorce. So I guess him and his man, they not working out. But the other thing is, if Billy Porter is going through that, there's a lot of people among us, that are living, as they say, quiet lives of desperation. They, will never tell you, I'm struggling, I'm living check to check. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent, my lights, and, anything else, right? And have some quality food on the table, right? There's a lot of people who are eating beans and rice for the 4th time this week. And I'm not making jest of those people at all, but I'm just saying there's a lot of people who aren't, on a regular everyday basis that are doing just as bad. So
Crock-pot sales have gone up, you guys, believe it or not. If you're invested in crock-pot, that's where you need to go.
I got one and I started using. I made me some bean soup. Right when I went back plant-based. I was like, wow, that I've never used a crock pot before then. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna use this crock pot. I'm gonna wear it out. Because you just set it and forget it type of thing. But yeah, there's a lot of people who are, going back to the beans and rice and the spaghetti is like spaghetti again. There's spaghetti in there. Yeah, so there's a lot of people going back to that kind of stuff. So it's going to get lean times for a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of companies laying off. Keisha, I saw you say a lot of people are getting that email notification or that, Zoom or Skype. Hey, guys, we wanted to talk to you guys today because this is actually, the last day on the job. We're not doing so well and we have to close the doors. And then most people are like, well, what am I supposed to do? Well, the answer to that, listen, I'm not sitting on a high horse nowhere because there's been a couple of times where I was like, damn, what would I do if I just had $10? But you know what I would do with it, right? So I'm not sitting here like I got it all together. I'm still, getting it together per se. But this is when we should look at other things other people are going through and say, okay, what do I need to do to not be in that situation? Now, especially on this show, we talk about hi, Nikki Red, how you doing? At not having just one stream of income, right? There's people who just go to work and no shame and just going to work. But there's a lot of people who've been on the job for 20, 30 years and they've heard, here's your pink slip, and some of those people aren't even getting severance pay or none of that stuff, right? You can get unemployment. But the other thing is somebody hands you a pink slip. Do you say, oh my God, what am I going to do? Or are you going to say, well, thank God I got some other streams of income. Yeah, that was probably my big fish on the line, but I got some other money coming in. I got other things I can do. Now, I know a lot of times people, I was laughing at Thunder's comment, talk about Umar Johnson, but the other day he said something I thought was very profound. He says, I don't think people should send their children to college unless they learn a trade. They have to learn a trade first, how to, work with their hands and do something, and then go get an education. Because a lot of times people get degrees and they can't work with those degrees because the job has gone away or whatever. But if you can fix a toilet or some electricity or, become an electrician or build a house or fix a car or how to cook, sew, do something, right? then you will always eat. My father always says that. He says, if you can work with your hands, you will always eat. But unfortunately, there's a lot of us, and I'm saying collectively, we don't teach our children skills anymore. I hate to say it, we got a lot of children who are just taught to be cute. You know, you don't even make the kids take out the trash no more.
Well, no, I mean, how can you do that when YouTube is raising them, a phone is raising them, or the Xbox, PlayStation is raising them all day? They can't even rake the leaves in the front yard if you even have trees in your neighborhood.
Absolutely. And I see a lot of y'all talking about Billy Porter and his dresses and him being LGBTQ. And as I said at the top of the hour, him being LGBTQ, and I know he's been problematic for the Black community, but him being LGBTQ has nothing to do with his financial struggles. Because there's a lot of straight people who are, very, down and out. So I try not to conflate two issues. Yeah, he could sell his dresses or whatever. And hell, a lot of that stuff ain't even there. A lot of that stuff is rented or borrowed, right? But we should be teaching our children how to fish and stop giving our children fish. Now, you want to give your children fish. You don't want them bad all, but you want to teach them how to fish, how to get it out the mud if they had to do that, right? But gone are the days to where we should be saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just lost my job. You should be saying, well, let me go pick up, some more clients on my other thing or whatever it is you know how to do outside of that job. It is said that if you go give the man 8 hours, come home and at least give yourself a couple of hours building something on the side, because that man may change his mind, and say, I don't need you no more.
And and I just want to say this, especially for our young men. We got to stop. Oh, baby, I love you, and you can do whatever you want. That's my baby and stuff like that. This is the very complaints a lot of these young women have toward men today, that they can't do anything. They're living up off of me and whatever. I think it is imperative that men go get it, because we can't have an excuse when we don't have a job, but we got a family. Nobody wants to hear, well, I got laid off. Nobody cares. No, for men, and you guys know, the fellas, put a one in the chat if you know this your damn self. We can't come with excuses. We can't. We have a family to support. If you got to go and collect cans, that's what you're supposed to do to put food on the table. We can't have excuses. And ladies, stop having excuses for why your man can't be a man. If he ain't doing what he's got to do, hey, cut off the cookies, cut off the good stuff until he gets himself together and gets stuff going. That's one of the problems.
Uh-oh, you threw a rock now, boy.
Yeah. I don't believe in. Well, I don't believe in that thing. Hey, listen, stop charging men. See, women. And I jumped into this late, so forgive me. I was dreaming when I wrote this. I watched a YouTube video this morning, and the guy was talking about men and women and how lonely more people are and what's going on. And he's just saying how rough women are going to have it in the future. Because think about this. If you're a woman, a boss lady, you now went from being cool with a man that makes $40,000 a year. Now you make 100. So that dude needs to make 100, which shrinks your field. Then you want a dude to be faithful to you that makes 250, and he's got to be all these things. And they're basically saying the more stuff you require, the less likely you are to get. Whereas a man will date a woman that works at Taco Bell. He'll pull up in a Ferrari, and if she's cute enough, he will pick you up from Taco Bell. So, and this whole thing about keeping the dessert, I don't know. I think the dessert should always be on the table if you're with that person.
Hey, Double A. I mean, I hear what Donovan is saying. I think Donovan is pretty much saying, there's a lot of, and as they say in the nation, a woman don't need a man to help her do nothing. If you're gonna be with a man, he needs to be productive. You can't complain about him, not doing anything, and he's getting everything he from you. Whether you cooking for him or you cleaning and you giving him whatever the case is. But he's saying, and as they say in the nation, a woman needs to impose some demands on a man. If you're not walking as my father would say amongst men and doing what men should do, Why should a woman, even entertain a man like that? This ain't goes true for a man with a woman who ain't about her stuff. Why would you entertain a woman who, is lazy and not helpful to you? So I agree with Donovan. Stop, being with these men who have right, write that down, Negro. Uh, stop being with men who are just, hey, all I got is some, and what did Raphael Sadiq and D'Angelo say? He said, I got some heart and some bubble gum. That's all I got, it's cute the first couple of times, but it's like, all right, baby, we need to get down to brass tacks. What you bringing into this household? You were talking about you ain't got no money. You keep saying you ain't got, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's gonna be up to women to say, hey, baby, you fine and everything, but I need you to do what men do, So I don't have a problem with that. But I don't know if this will ever happen again. It's like an eclipse, right? Once in a while. I don't know if I ever agree with Donovan again.
Yeah. I just think if you with the dude, that should just be on the table. I think there's other things you could do. Because women, that don't work for you. When you hold the goods, he goes shopping somewhere else.
And you know what? Not to cut you off, Tracy. She put this comment. How you doing? By the way, says a man will leave for a woman that will tolerate him. And you know what I say? Because me and Donovan actually had this conversation earlier. Then that's the man for her. That's the man and woman that need to be together, who will tolerate, the lacklusterness of each other. But if you somebody that's got some standards and you about something, then yeah, you might want to let that man or that woman go be with somebody who's gonna put up with all of that and break all your headboards and all that other stuff. But if you somebody about it and you want somebody who was productive and y'all on the same page and all that, then yeah, he ain't for you. So yeah, you're right though. There's a woman out there be like, ooh, child, just love him. She gonna love him until she don't. So
I think the problem is you need to figure out what you get from them. What is it about them that attracted you in the beginning? As I hear a lot of people saying, I need to be with a man that does it. And I'm one of those people that say that too. He needs to bring something to the table. I agree. But maybe we need to rebuild the table. Because at the end of, let's say I'm a woman, use your imagination. And don't use this against me in the future. I'm not saying I want to be a woman. It's not, if God came back and was like, you're a woman, I'll be like, kill me now. There's no way I would do it. I'm not doing menopause, having no kids. I ain't doing it. But if I was a woman, I would say, okay, what does this man do for me? Is he do his best to protect me? He's not perfect because people make mistakes, especially when you bring alcohol into the picture. The biggest fights I've had, the stupidest things I've ever said have been after drinking, right? People make mistakes. But what are these guys' intentions? Is his intention to take care of me, support me, be affectionate, help me and my family grow? If those are his intentions, then I can step in and help him get there. And those are some of the strongest relationships. I watch this guy, Alex I can't remember his name. He's a big buff dude on YouTube, wears a hat. He was in his girlfriend's house and he went broke and he told his girlfriend to leave me. She's like, no, I'm not leaving you. But his intentions were to take care of her. And he failed trying to take care of her. He lost everything. And he said, she pushed me, kept me going, and now we're billionaires. We were dead broke together. Whereas most women would have left him when he went broke and he hit rock bottom. She was like, I know what his intentions are, so I'm going to stick with this dude, because when he gets his intentions and his work ethic line up and he gets going, I'm going to be safe. Right? Don't be like, he gonna leave your ass for a white girl.
And hey Andre, how you doing? It says the other person in the relationship should be able to balance you. Absolutely. And I would say this: intentions and potential. Yeah, I think a lot of women can deal with that. It's one thing if a man is down on his luck and he's needs some rebuilding. Everybody needs somebody behind him say, baby, you got this, I'm gonna help you, blah blah blah. But I always say, I'm going to push you, but I ain't going to pull you, right? I'm going to, come on, baby, come on. I'm going to push you. I'm behind you. But pulling means that I'm doing most of the work to try to help you. So yeah, you were somebody you could push. Yeah, we got this, we got this. But that person has got to be like leading the charge, right? It can't just be you. Come on, get up. Let's start the day. Nah, hell no. You need to be leading the charge, and I'll be like, all right, whatever you need, I'm gonna help you get that as best I can.
That's true, but all this gets better if we get back to our core. And that is if we put some stuff away for our future. Like I talked about owning land. And what I'm noticing is I see a lot of people on the internet and people with money are moving this direction. And it's a good way to close the wealth gap. It's a good way to make your relationship more stable. If I say to my wife, I own 4 pieces of property and I have a little tiny home on each one, so me and you forever have a place to live. We always don't care what happens to this planet, as long as there's water and sun, me and you are straight. And you never have to worry. All this other shit, cars, BMWs, house, candles, alcohol, this shit is secondary. Our life is protected no matter what. I think that makes a relationship with the same person better. And then all the other stuff, because like you turn on TV and you see, oh, like I watch Medea movies. And I'm sitting there with my girl and I'm watching Medea. I'm like, oh, here come the Negroes with their shirt off and da 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 da. And all that shit. I'm sitting here the whole time watching this scene, like, oh, I'm comparing myself. I need to get my ass in the gym. Sometimes you do that with life and it's hard to compare yourself versus saying, you know what, my stuff is together. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody gonna have an 8-inch, a 7-inch thing. Some people gonna have a 3-inch thing. You know what I'm saying? But like history shows, my daughter ain't here, but statistically showing most women are cool with 3 to 5. Some of y'all tripping because y'all got 7 and tripping. So I need to be 9. B. And if you 3, you can buy 6 in the store, So why not just figure out what you want, turn off the outside world, and go, what do I need to protect my family? Because when I start looking on the outside, I don't care how hot my woman is, I'm going to see something that in the world is better. Women, you too, I don't care how fine your man is. If that's what drives you, my man look good, da-da-da, there's going to be another dude cross your path. You're going to be like, oh, he look better. So we need to get comfortable with what we have and make that secure. Because otherwise, like the girl I dated last time, somebody said to me, oh, she's not all glamorous and all like what we'd expect you with. I was like, well, she's cute, number one, which is enough for me. And we're working on stuff financially. I like when I see a girl on Instagram with the filters and the big old lips and the makeup and the big old fake booty and the heels, and she's holding the Louis bag at a steakhouse. I'm like, bitch, get out of here. That shit gets old and tiring. Like every time I see you, like you want to meet at Mastro Steakhouse? Like, come on, like let's build.
And who was that?
Huh?
Who was that?
It's everywhere. Like one of the reasons I don't like going on Instagram is because that's the stuff you see. And I'm just like, and I hit one of my friends up. I was like, I see you on Instagram at this steakhouse and carrying this bag, but like, you still single. And the dudes I see you with aren't the dudes you even like. I know that's not your dude, but he's taking you out to a dinner and getting you a Louis bag.
Shit, where they at? But listen, Thunder says benefits benefits of older women. Kids are grown, low chance of her filing child support, AARP card, life experience, companionship, can cook and listens to soul music, real music. You better tell him. But see, that's the thing. Now, see, Thunder know what's up. He like his women seasoned like Lowry's, right? Yeah. Older women, we ain't got all that. But a lot of the old dudes, about to be hospice husbands, they out there chasing the young women, and they want all they want what he just listed. But if you dating a younger woman and she can still have children, you talking about, I don't want no children. I'm scared of child support. It's like, well, you ain't scared to stick your, whatever where it ain't supposed to be. You know what I mean? But an older woman, like you said, she's got experience and all that other stuff. But I don't know. For the life of me, I'm like to do y'all whatever. But
Well, let me add to that. Okay, I'm in Hawaii, and there's a lot of older women here. Okay, and don't get me wrong, you're older, you're older. I don't want to see that on the beach. I don't want to see that on the beach.
well, what's she
I
supposed to
don't.
show it at? What's she supposed to have on a burlap sack on the beach?
The thing is, either put a screener or whatever, because again,
You
you've
talking about
got
a
some of
filter?
these. Yeah, you've got some of these older women on the beach trying to compete with the younger women, and it's terrible.
And y'all
Some of
act
these
like
women need to be locked up. Some of these women need to be locked up.
y'all act like y'all don't have y'all saggy balls and flattened booties on the beach either. We
Right,
and
but
your
look,
beer guts and your
but they're
taco meat.
covered or they're packed up, whatever the deal is.
Nah, y'all stuff still be sagging. Booty got wrinkles, taco meat everywhere, gray and black
I'm saying
taco
an
meat.
older woman, if you're 60 and let's be real, and you're not into physical fitness, unfortunately, a lot of our women are obese. It doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. Men are visual. I'm just saying, men are visual, and that's just a fact. And it doesn't look good. So, I mean, older women bring a lot to the table, but again, men are visual. So, and unless you've already been married for 35, 40 years, I don't know.
Okay, see, I wouldn't go down that rabbit hole with Donovan. I like my safety.
Right. Let me. I'll go ahead.
You have to just, I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. You have to just be comfortable with your environment because, and I understand Donovan's point, because a lot of the beaches around the world, they are nude beaches. Europe, Greece. I was in Greece on the beach. Lord have mercy. I was like, oh, she didn't have to do that. Oh, Lord. But they don't really care. They're just in their own world. And if that big old woman in her 60s is on the beach with everything hanging, you only know it's not good because you're comparing her to somebody else.
Come on.
What if it was just that was your woman and you blocked everyone else out and you was like, I love Rasputia or whatever her name is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but all jokes aside, you have to, and I know Donovan's not in a committed relationship, so we're just having some fun.
And the way he talking, he won't be no time soon.
But damn, sometimes I mean you have. I mean, I know, like when I go out, I have to literally put mental blinders on because I'm used to, from my past, especially checking out beautiful women, and I find myself having to put on my blinders and saying, you know what? I'm here with this attractive woman, and that's all that matters. Because out of habit, if I see a bad girl walk in, black dress, heels, bam, bam, my brain goes, and I'm like, screw, no, stay over here. This is hot right here. Because with that, you don't know her. You got to start all over. You're going to be $10,000 before you realize you're crazy. Versus right here, your home is safe. And I think the sooner we get to that, the better we do as a people. And then it don't matter that your girlfriend's like, oh, he's a plumber. He ain't shit. No, girl. He's a plumber and he makes me feel good and he's taking care of our home. Period. So, and as you see, if you look at some of these actors, they're falling like dominoes. Like Billy Porter, somebody I would consider that has made some decent money. Maybe he's not an A-list actor, but he's been on some shows and stuff, right? He's been on TV. He's got some shows. So he should have some money saved. But even those cats are going through it. And I know from the celebrity world, a lot of those guys are struggling because when you make $1 million in 1 year and that's a hit and you don't have a guaranteed hit coming up, you're doomed if you don't save. So, and I'm telling you, that's going to be a lot of people very soon if you don't and I don't know why we keep talking about saving money. This is elementary. And once you really keep hearing it and you understand it, you've got to put something away. Otherwise, I mean, there's going to become a time when the AI is so heavy and the government's like, hey, like, look what's happening right now to Black people. Look at the migrant situation in Chicago and these other places. Can you imagine when AI shows up fully? You got the immigrants, the illegal ones coming over, and AI. Oh man, Black people, welcome
Oh,
back to slavery.
speaking of which,
Call yourself Toby.
I went to an African supermarket today and an African restaurant, where they sell African food or whatever. And I was blown away that they have a lot of Hispanics working there. And I didn't see any Black Americans. I don't know if they weren't there yet. I didn't see any, but they had a lot of Hispanics working there. And I was like, wow, that's it's interesting, because it's like, were there not any Black people to hire? Or maybe they're just like, well, we have our business and we're like white people or whatever, and we'll hire who we want. Basically anybody but Black people. And I was like, okay, well, I probably won't be coming back here anytime soon. It wasn't by my house anyway, but I wouldn't be going there. So yeah, the Hispanics, I don't know if they were immigrants or whatever, but even they're predominantly in the African stores as well. So I just thought that was really interesting. But yeah, I agree. And let me say this comment here. He says attraction be too strong sometimes. Discipline does right though. Yeah, I mean, you see people that maybe look better than who you're with, but if you really love who you're with, how would you even know? Like, how would you even stop long enough to say, yeah, she or he looks better than who I'm with? I mean, to me, I think you should be, like I said, Walter, put some blinders on and be focused on who you're with, and that's just kind of the problem. People, they're not focused. They're just like grasshoppers. Grasshoppers, they don't stay in one place. They just hop all over the place, right? And here to there and everywhere. And you should vet the person you're with as much as you can to make sure that they don't have a grasshopper mentality, meaning that wherever they get attention, they're gonna hop over there, right? And they're gonna hop over there because they don't have knowledge of self. They get knowledge of self from the compliments and validation of other people. That should be concerning to anybody. And Thunder, you say Lena Horne. Yes, Lena Horne was definitely a beauty. And Tracy says Africans say they don't hire Black Americans. Well, I'm telling you, the two stores I went in, I didn't see any. I saw Hispanics working. Africans were there as well, but Hispanics were there. I didn't see any Black Americans. I was like, yeah, I won't be coming up in here anymore.
You didn't see any Black Americans working there. Do you see Black Americans shopping there?
I think me and who I was with was the only people there.
Let me get this straight. You're at an African store owned by African people, and Mexicans or immigrants are in there working and shopping.
Working. I didn't see nobody, none of them shopping, but they were working in the kitchen, in the store. It was just so odd to me. It was just really weird because, if you go in their establishments, they don't have everybody else working there. It's only them, right? But I'm like, to me, and Lord knows, I know there's a division on the internet between Black Americans and Africans from the continent. So I'm not trying to get into that. But when I saw that, I was like, surely this is out of spite. We'll hire everybody else. And I don't know if Black people are trying to apply there. Houston has a large Black population, so I don't know why they wouldn't be. Black people work everywhere else, but to me, it just seemed like it was out of spite that we rather hire them than Black Americans. I went into the grocery store. I didn't really see much that I liked there. Got some plantains, and then I went to the restaurant because I've had when I was in South Africa, I've had food there, but I've never tried food. And so I said, let me try that. Went over there and got some, but very disappointed. It's like, golly, y'all even got Hispanics working up in here.
And I don't even think it's that they don't hire Black people. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that they probably have trouble getting black people to work there.
And
I
you know
know
what?
for,
I would say, wait, hold on.
I mean,
But
it's
wait, hold
50
on, hold on,
50.
hold on. I'm gonna say I'm beg to differ because living in Houston, there are a lot of black people here, and almost everywhere I go, I see black people working. So I just kind of fail to believe that is true. That black people don't. Maybe they don't. I don't know. There's a
I'm
chance
just
they
saying maybe in
don't.
that
But
area they're having trouble. But like, why wouldn't they hire black people in an African store, especially at least some Africans?
I just didn't get the feeling, and I don't know their HR dynamics, but I just didn't get the feeling that they would hire black people. I mean, we kind of know the relationship between black Americans and Africans. But I just like out of all the people you would hire, surely if there's Hispanics that will work there, there's black people that will work there too. So I'm not buying that black people just don't want to work there. You know what I mean? Like you got Mexican seasoning the African, the jollof. That I was just like, what's going on here? You know, and it kind of ruined my appetite. Whatever I was, my daughter tell you that if I go somewhere and I'm not happy with the environment for a whole host of reasons, it won't ruin my day. I'll have a crappy 10 minutes after that. I'll reflect on it and then I'll say, well, I'm not gonna go back there. And if that's how they get down, then I won't go there. And I'll also say too, and I don't know, maybe it's just their disposition. Uh, they're not terribly friendly people.
Are
So
you
I
talking
don't
about
know.
Africans?
Yeah, and again, I'm not, I know there are some that are friendly, a lot of them actually, but I'm just saying,
Actually, what's sad is a lot of the African people that I've met have been a kind of standoffish. Like I have a couple brothers that I work with in the auto business, some Africans that were kind of standoffish to me, and I approached them face head on, like, "Hey, brother, what's up?" And the dude was like, "Oh, hey, man, what's up?" But like I had to approach him directly, like get in his face, like, "Yo, what's up, dude?" And here's the thing. Oh Lord, whew, let's get the party started. Let me light a candle. Have y'all been to my website yet? I saw somebody on YouTube say this, and he made a good point. He goes, blacks in America have it better than blacks anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. He almost, and he didn't go this far because I know like his YouTube channel would have got deleted, but he almost, it's like he was going to say like, thank God for slavery, because if it wasn't for slavery, black people in America would not be in this position. His thought process was black people in America are in the best position of blacks anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. Blacks in America can, like, I'll use my example. I've got 3 or 4 black women that I have hired and asked to help me with the candle business. My daughter being number 5. She's a hostage though, so her situation is different. My daughter got 3 other jobs, but all 4 of them, I brought on, I said, hey, here's everything. And every single one of them have either quit or not showed up. 4 sisters in a row. And you know what I'm talking about? The one that lived with me, gave her everything, the keys, the house, money, built her credit, put her credit on my, everything. And she just like, black women have it so rough. I'm like, okay. In Africa, they can't do that. In Cambodia, in India, in China, black people, they are struggling for reals. Black people in this country will be like, I ain't doing that job. I ain't gonna catch me up in there. You ain't gonna catch me driving this shit. Oh no, I ain't gonna be seen driving that car. We are one of the only people in the world, probably here and in Europe, England maybe, Canada, that can do that. So I feel like we, maybe the Africans, are looking at us like they have all that opportunity and they're not using it. Otherwise, why would Africans be in the United States? Think about this. I hear people say we should go back to Africa and do what? They don't have our infrastructure. They have a great infrastructure, yes, but they don't have our infrastructure. And If they were like, hey, you want to go to Africa and live, or you want to stay in America, I would stay my black ass right here. Because we have too many rights, even with all the shit going on, with all the government, all the stuff we deal with, we still are in the best position in the world amongst black people living in the United States. The fact that me and Donovan, two black men that would have been hunted decades ago by the police, you name it, can start a business, own a cat, you know what I'm saying? Have our own businesses. And this brother is chilling in Hawaii. Like, they're not doing that shit in Africa or in India. They're not balling. They're not living like that. So we have it made here. So when you look at the immigrants or the illegal immigrants, they are coming from a land that's like, yo, these people over here are lazy. We're going to go get these jobs. And I think a lot of business owners are kind of like where I am. I'm like, I'm done hiring people because they're black. I'm just going to hire them. Right now, I have my homeboy Hugo. He called me twice since I've been on this. Showed up at my house at 7 a.m. this morning. It was like, Walter, I heard you say you wake up at 5. I woke up at 5 so I can be here. He took me to the auto auction at 8 o'clock this morning. And he lives 45 minutes from me. Here at 7, dropped me off an hour away. And was like, I'll see you later. So like, black people, we have those jobs and opportunities and we're not taking them. So I think a lot of those black store owners, and I can't speak for these people, are just saying, the hell with it. I'm done hiring somebody based on the color because it's hurting my business to just hire black people. In the book, The Color of Money, she says it. The reason why black banks struggle so bad is because the churches and the black establishments wanted the banks to give them the hookup because they were black. And it goes on and on and on. The reason the black banks failed is because the way that black people treated the bank, they didn't keep deposits. They kept pulling the money out. It was whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. They were giving it all to the church. So the black banks, yeah, there was some other stuff involved, but we had a lot to do with our own banks failing. The reason why a lot of black establishments fail, because black people won't go to them unless it's a turkey leg hut. And I don't know how he has all those black people up in there. I want to learn his secret. So I think black people have it too good in this country. You can get an EBT card. If you got 2 kids with an EBT card, you get $700 a month.
Let me just kind of put some context to it, because I hear what you're saying. You know, I'm one of those people that, you know, it's do or die, right? I'm not going to go without. I'm going to do what I need to do within a reason, right, to get it. So I get all of that. But I don't want people to mistake that we have it too good here in America, because we know black people do not have it too good. We don't have it as well as a lot of other people. We also know, and I hate that I even have to keep saying this, that, you know, there is systemic and institutional racism that harms black people every day. We also know that Africans can come over here and get a leg up because in some aspects, white supremacy, they do set them apart just a little bit. Also, we know that when Africans come over here, they have a community. They weren't exposed to the horrors of slavery that we were, that is still affecting us today. So we got to we can't just say stuff like, oh, we have it too good, because we know goddamn well that ain't true. There's a black man going to jail somewhere in this country right now for the rest of his life that a white man is getting a slap on the wrist for. So we got to be careful when we say black people have it too good in this country, because we don't. Now, there are things.
That's not what I said.
Yes, you
I
did.
didn't say we have it too good. I said we have it better.
No, you did not.
Most other places.
Wait, you said we have it too good. Those are the words that you use. You use those words.
You know what I mean?
Wait.
Don't tie it all up.
Hold on.
You understand what I mean?
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying we need to be careful when we say those things, because what it does is it kind of does piggyback off of white right-wing talking points, and Democrats ain't no better. Black people, we need to be doing this, that, and the other, when we know there's a whole lot more that goes into it. So I agree. There are some things there's a lot of things we as black people should be doing. I talk about it all the time. And that's why I tell people, Get in these damn books. Stop trying to freestyle off of some shit you see. See, now I'm getting mad. Some stuff that we see off of the internet. Get in these books. Get it. We know that Black people, we need to start doing for self, right? Marcus Garvey, got a bunch of them over there, has told us, up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. We know that. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had a whole bunch of asks of the United States government in addition to telling Black people to do for self, because we know that without reparations, which is a systemic and institutional thing that happened to us, without reparations, Black people are not going to get a leg up. It's going to take us over 232 years to close this wealth gap. So yes, we could tell Black people, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You got it too good in this country. But don't ever say that without giving it context, because what you do is you fuel the fire for white supremacy. California, the state you live in right now, is deciding at this very moment. They're coming out with a recommendation this week as to what Black Americans that were affected by slavery in California deserve. I guarantee you right now, they say we giving y'all $2 million. You ain't gonna say I don't want it because I got it too good. So we know that
I would take the money.
Exactly. So
I would take money from anybody. I'm Ariana DeGrasse.
Right.
What's her name? I would do not turn down money, but I do believe, I'm speaking for me, I am in a good situation. It is good for me as somebody that will go and fight for what they want. Listen, you don't have to teach me about systemic racism. I've been pulled over by the police more than anybody we know. And a lot of times because of my skin color. So I know what I'm dealing with. But that don't mean I'm going to sit around like it. Listen, this is a slippery slope. You have to say, we have it good enough to build a life. There's 3 Black people on this podcast, in this triangle, that have freedom of time, freedom of speech, good credit. We can go out and build wealth today if we just take the proper steps. There are people in most countries, our color, that cannot do that regardless of how hard they try. In Puerto Rico, Colombia, Belize, wherever Black people are, they can't, because I've been to Colombia and they're working hard as hell. They will never have the opportunity that the brokest Black man has in this country, that can get his shit together, build his credit, go out and get a piece of land, build on it, and start saving his money. They don't have that. So when I say we have it good or too good, whatever, that is what I mean. Yeah, we have systemic racism, but how long do we keep talking about it versus doing something about it? Like, stop putting these politicians in office.
Both. We need to talk about both. We can, because I'm telling y'all.
But I feel like that's all we talk about is systemic racism. We rarely
that's
hear
not
us
all
talking
we talk about. Well, I push back. Because anybody who follows this show know we talk about a whole lot of stuff.
I'm not talking about this show. I'm talking about we as a people.
Oh, wait, I can only talk about this show because I'm not on everybody else's show. I can talk about this show. I purposely have books that I have read, and I put this up here so you guys, and you ask me what I'm reading. Start with The Fall of America, I should say, by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. All the stuff that we're seeing today has been written and prophesied in this book. Y'all saw houses falling off the cliff in Alaska. I ain't talking about no little hut. We talking about mansions. All this stuff has been prophesied. And so I'm passionate about this because a lot of times, and I'm not just saying about anybody on here, I'm just saying, I always tell people this. I can tell who your teachers are or who you study just by the things that you say. And I can always tell, for the most part, when people are just saying stuff, like when I hear Black people have it too good in the bootstrap conversation, I'm like, I know these people are listening to people who are uneducated. Not saying you, but I'm saying like the Candace Owens and all those other people who are just getting the bag off of telling white supremacy what they want to hear. Now, I've also said, because we cannot have that conversation without bringing in Dr. Claude Anderson, who has given us another blueprint. There's a blueprint here. There's a blueprint from Marcus Garvey and Dr. Claude Anderson. has given us the blueprint of what to do, the 5 floors that he talks about. He admonishes Black people all day long about getting our ducks in a row, but he never has that conversation without bringing up and bringing into the conversation systemic and institutional racism. So we got to get good at marrying both so that it's a true conversation.
I agree with that. We just need to spend more time talking about the do for self part, because I can turn on any Black network and hear about racism, this, that. I was listening to a radio station today, and the sister is going on and on about the injustices toward Black women for the whole time I listened to it. And not once did I hear her say, here's something we can do, because we keep asking the wolf to change. The wolf likes sheep. He ain't gonna stop eating sheep. Black people in this conversation are the sheep. You keep asking the wolf, I don't know, maybe he should eat some chicken. He don't like chicken.
Let me ask you this.
He likes sheep.
Let me ask you this. Did you see that wolf get his ass beat in Montgomery, Alabama?
I saw that.
Right. So what I'm saying is, yeah, there's things we need to do as Black people, but that wolf shouldn't have got his ass beaten in Montgomery, because it shouldn't have been messing with Black people in the first place. So again, we got to have both conversations. Yeah, there's stuff we need to be doing, but we're not ever going to forget and say, well, you know, it's the way it is. Nah, this country owes a debt and we want it. We want it. And wait a minute.
They pay,
hold on.
What do we do until they pay?
But right, but even to this day, there's Black people getting their land taken from them. I know you've seen, you know, the 93-year-old woman at the Gullah Geechee land in South Carolina. A big-time white corporation is trying to steal her land, and a lot of people have to get involved so that they would not do that to her. That property, all those acres have been in her family since the Civil War, and they're trying to take it. And so when we say we have it too good, then we leave out those type of people who are still suffering the injustices of white supremacy.
Okay, but think about this for a second. What you just said. They tried to take her land, which means they were trying to write her a check for it and take it from her under eminent domain.
$37,000 for property that she's had in her family since the Civil War. Now, is that justice?
That's called eminent domain, and that happens to all people. No, it
wasn't eminent domain. It was not eminent domain. It was a property, a housing development company wanted to steal her land to build 147 houses on her land.
Well, maybe they could partner with her and they could split the money.
She doesn't want to do that. Well, she should not have to do that.
But you said people came to her aid. That is what happens in America. And if she was in Mongolia and the rich corporations decided to take her land would just be gone. In America, we have freedom of speech, some of it. There's power that we have. I know our system is broken. But I'm saying there are things that we have as Black people in this country that other Black people do not have. Right. So we need to do both. But we keep having this conversation, but we keep voting for the same old people. It's like, damn, like.
I agree. But however, if y'all get in these books, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us, the hell, and that's my words, the hell with the political system, because no man in that White House, whether they're liberal or conservative, are going to help Black people. So yes, we need to do for self. But as I also said, he had a whole lot of asks of this United States government that has put our people in the situation that we're in, period. So we got to start getting good at having both conversations, because, you know, I get it. I'm Black and I'm Black in America. I see a whole lot of stuff that go on, and I take us to task sometimes on videos and things like that. But what I don't ever want us to do is kick our people so much to where we have no compassion for the things that has happened to us still and to our people. I could go on forever. You want to talk about some more injustices? How do 2 Black men in Jackson, Mississippi have it too good when 6 police officers that just pled guilty to raping those 2 Black men, busting into their homes, making them do heinous things to each other that they did not want to do, lied about it, covered it up. In 2023, still black men still have that stuff going on. So how do we have it too good when we don't have the conversation about the horrors of police brutality? So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
we got to stop that.
What happened to those 6 officers?
They got played guilty because they were caught, but they destroyed all the evidence and all kind of stuff. But they got caught because one of those officers put a gun into one of the brothers' mouth, and accidentally the gun went off and shot him in the mouth. So they couldn't clean that up. So they ended up getting caught and pled guilty to that. So we can't run around saying we got it too good when you as a black man could be in your house and have an illegal, that wasn't even a warrant. They ran up into their house and terrorized them for 90 minutes. We don't have it too good.
That shit happens all the time, but I'm not you tying too good into you taking it way to the extreme. When I say we have it good in this country, those officers, yeah, a lot of them get away with it, but when they are caught, they're going to jail forever. Those guys,
when they are caught, but they are rarely, and even when they are caught, they get away with it.
Well, these guys aren't getting away with it. But even like if that would have happened in India, those cops would be straight. I've seen corruption in other countries. So when I say we have it good here, there's a lot of things that we have control over. And I used to be that dude, like march and like, hell no. And I just was like, you know what? I need to know what happened to us, but I'm not going to have a fairy tale fantasy relationship with the past. I'm going to add more stories I'm going to add more stuff to the story. I'm telling you, I could sit here all day and talk about the injustices of black people. I got a whole top my bookshelf is black businesses, black this, black that. That whole top bookshelf is black, and no, you can't borrow them. It's all black stuff. So I know what we've gone through. I just was having a girl I'm seeing, and she ain't even black. Watch this video. She ain't. Long story. Anyways, let's just keep it moving. We watched this video of the 100 things that black people have invented. And she was like, whoa, y'all did all that? And I said, you know, the crazy part is most black people don't even know we did all that. We don't know that we invented the refrigeration for the truck instead of bringing your food across country and it being all wilted, that a black man created the refrigeration for the trucks.
But you know, the other conversation people ain't having with that is most of those inventions were ripped off by white supremacy, and not Negro benefit from that. So that's what I'm saying. We need to have both sides of the conversation. Why don't people know about that worldwide? Why do we got to learn about that during Black History Month? Because that stuff was stolen from us, and white supremacy, they are making a bag off of it, just like they are still making a bag off of slavery, even though it ended, technically, in 1865. They're still making it, like their generational wealth will never go anywhere, but our generational wealth never, like the wealth that we did build, we know what happened with that. So all I'm saying is, I'm not saying that we don't have any control over the stuff that we do as far as the money that we're spending, but we got to stop having that. It's enough. Enough of that. You can't talk about racism. We all talk about racism.
Don't feed the liberals. I didn't say enough of it. I said we need to add to the conversation. I don't have to look for black injustices or to find out what has been done to us. I just get tired of hearing this shit all day long.
But do you get tired of experiencing it?
But let me finish. Here's the point I'm making. Like when I was in school. I think I wasn't sixth grade. Maybe it was first grade, somewhere around there. And they went, that Roots Week where they talk about slavery. I'm like, why in the hell do I need to hear about slavery right now? Why do I need to every year keep hearing about roots? And not okay, there's the movie Alex Haley, he showed our history, but damn, I gotta hear this in school. I gotta keep being reminded, by the way, black man, there's shit that's happening to you and that happened to you. So that needs to be on your mind. I know slavery happened, but what I'm not gonna do is sit here and keep plugging that time into those slots where I need to be more productive. And if black people would take my advice, and a lot of brothers have tried to tell us this, go out and own something. Just try it. Own something. Black people, we're quick to go to Louis and all these places, white parties and all this shit. Black people doing the two-step and all white, drinking Dom Perignon, some $300 European champagne. I'm like, how is that helping us? We are making the problem worse. Yes, there's white supremacy.
But you know what though? But you know what the crazy part is? You know why people don't dog white people for drinking Dom Perignon and partying and all that other stuff? Because they got the means to justify it. If we had the means to justify it, I know we do sometimes trick off a lot of money, but these white folks didn't get that wealth because they worked hard. They got the wealth because we worked hard.
But we know that though.
Right,
we know that.
Right,
we know that Black people were instrumental in building this country. We are aware of that. But what are we doing with that now though?
Right. But when we keep having that conversation to dismiss, let's stop talking about it. Stop talking about it.
I didn't say let's stop talking about it. I said I'm over hearing about it. It's
That's
all
you
hear. It's all you hear. But when do you slide in the do for self stuff?
We talk as I said, we talk about do for self on this show all the time.
I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about as a people. When do we talk about do?
We talk about it. Then everybody in the comment section talk about it, and then eventually, we'll get there. But listen, I know it's problematic in some of the stuff that we do. I'm not stupid. I see what's going on in Black America every day. But like I said, we got to stop being dismissive of the things that we have gone through and the things that we go through. My daddy is 79 years old, and as a Black man, he still goes through bullshit. At 79 years old, my dad was born in 1944, and ain't no telling all the horrors. And he tells me stories of all the things that he's gone through, and with white supremacy. And even not too long ago, he had a police officer question him, talking about, oh, you got a warrant over here. My dad is like, I'm an old man. I haven't been to San Bernardino in years. And then, the white supremacist officer give him the rundown because he didn't like the car he was driving, and all that other stuff. And he said he questioned me for like 90 minutes and finally let me go, a 79-year-old man. So I will not, I'll be the last person to say we're going to stop talking about it. We're going to stop talking about it when we are vindicated for what our people have gone through, and when my 79-year-old daddy ain't got to have the once over and fear for going to jail behind some shit he didn't do. That's when I'm gonna stop talking about it.
But that ain't gonna happen until we make some aggressive moves. It's you think about this. How long have we been saying this? And it's only getting worse for Black people. It is only getting worse. But now it's our own people that are adding to the shit. And yeah, that thing in Alabama where they came up and they defended themselves, like that should happen more often. And it should happen physically. And it should happen financially too. We should, when somebody comes at us, we should whip their ass. And I didn't watch the whole video because it just turned into a wild spectacle. So I got the point, and I see all the memes and all the, the crazy shit. So I haven't seen the whole video. But what if we also did that financially? Like, you know what? Yeah, there's going to be all the crazy stuff that we deal with, that stuff's not disappearing. It's only going to get worse.
Well, I had that conversation on Sunday. I said, didn't we, Donovan? Or was it yesterday? Yesterday or Sunday, one of the days. It's yesterday. Let's make the most of the moment. Let's use the momentum from Alabama to roll into other things. So again, we do have those conversations, but like I said, I can't tell you, what your belief system should be. But we always gonna have that conversation. I'm never gonna stop having a conversation about racism and what our people go through. But we also gonna have a conversation, as I said, about what we need to do to minimize some of the stuff that we do to each other. But no, we never gonna. Because to me, when I hear, oh, let's stop talking about racism, let's stop talking about slavery, I almost hear, well, we gonna let white supremacy off the hook for what they did to our people. That's what I hear. And, and the other thing is, as Farrakhan said, we as Black people, we always forgiving people who ain't asking us for forgiveness. So, and all the information out there about what's going on with Black people, what's going on, and what has gone on with Black people, white supremacy, and people who don't claim to be white supremacists, they don't want Black people to have it, even though they know the horrors that we have gone through. They still don't think that we should be vindicated. They say what you said. Y'all got it good. Y'all should just get over it. And it's like,
No, that's not
Nobody
them.
else has had to get over it, but black people expect us to
That's
get
not.
over it.
See, that's what. See, don't feed the liberals. I didn't say we
Wait,
need to
what does
get
that
over.
mean? To
I
feed
didn't
the
say we
liberals.
need to get over it. It's not what I said.
But what does it mean? What does it mean to feed the liberals?
Like to say like get over it. I'm not saying get over it. I'm saying let's do for self. Let's do our part. The stuff we're supposed to do. Like there's mornings I wake up and I'm raging with all this supremacy and all the stuff that happened to slaves. Some mornings I'll spend mornings watching that shit, 2 or 3 hours watching videos on this. I'm the one, the whole Black Wall Street thing. I think I'm the one that sent you the book from The Color of Money. There's some mornings I sit up and go through that stuff to the point where I get enraged, where I want to go kill my neighbor and put a cracker sign up on my
Now,
front
see,
door.
I don't get to that point because
But
you know
I'm
what?
telling you, I do, but I have to say, you know what? What can I do? Because yeah, like, and I hear some people saying that black people can't create wealth because they always take it. Not all black people lose their wealth. Most black people don't get their wealth taken. Does it happen to some? Yeah, but it don't happen to all of us, and that's not an excuse not to save it. You know, and in this country, we do have rights. You know, especially in California. I don't property here in California. Somebody tried to come up and take my land. I can go and get into the courtroom and file for free and protect myself. So we have things like that we can use that we're not using. There's so much, like for you guys that live down south in Bama, in Texas and Louisiana, Florida, there's so much vacant, empty land that no one is using that black people can go buy for pennies on the dollar and claim. That's the type. If we all owned the piece of property, can you imagine?
But you know what, though? You're right. We should be trying to buy property, and there's a lot of black people that's trying to buy property. But you know, the other conversation you need to be having, what about the property that was taken from our people? You know how many millions of acres that was taken from black people, just outright taken by white supremacy, and that land is never given back? We should get that land for free.
But
Period.
how do we get it though? How do we get it?
They give it to us, just
So
like they sold it.
Who's
Just like,
they though?
you know who they are.
No, I'm saying, but like, who's they right now? Who's in power today that can do it? Because most of them are dead.
The government, they still, the government, white supremacy, all those people, they still benefit off of that. You live in California, where they just have to give Bruce Beach back to black people that was stolen from them. That Bruce Beach used to be a black beach, and it was stolen from them. So I hear what you're saying about buying land.
My point exactly, and I don't think it's enough, but they awarded them $24 million or something like that. And I don't know what it's worth and what it could be worth today, but if that would have been in another country, that family wouldn't have got the 20 million bucks. So yeah, there's a lot of injustices, and there's going to continue to be, and in my opinion, it's going to get worse for black people.
Right.
Because now we have us adding to the craziness.
But wait, let's go back though. That family should have never have to been given $20 million because the property should have never been taken from them in the first place.
I agree with that.
Right.
You're preaching to the choir.
Those are the conversations we gotta have. And then the other thing too is we do our ancestors a grave injustice. Our people got it out the mud when they had every reason not to get it out the mud right after slavery. So we as black people, we come from building and rebuilding as we watch white supremacy tear it down, right? So we got to keep having a conversation about what is owed to us while we're building. And Brina, you said it right. We need to have both the conversations, but we cannot keep kicking black people in the teeth as if we are not and have not tried to do anything. We got to stop doing that because, as I said before, it does come off as elitist. Like, you Negro.
Well, we can't use the word elitist because to be elite is to be great and is to be on top of things, and we all need to be elitist. The song is "We Are the Champions," not "We Are in second." We need to be elitist, and I think if most black people thought like we are the elite, we are premier, I think that we would do better. When someone says elitist, I know they did that to Barack Obama, called him an elitist.
But
This
we
is a
let's
black man
define
that
it
went to
though.
Harvard who was president. He is
Wait,
an
wait, wait,
elite.
wait, wait. Let's define it though, because I agree. Black people are the supreme being. Like we are the end all be all. We are elite. We do. A lot of us need to wake up and acknowledge that. But what I'm saying, as far as elitism, is that I'm looking down on the rest of you. That's the example that I'm talking about. So that's why I'm saying we got to get very skillful at having both conversations, because when we have the one that, oh, black people, this, I'm tired of this, that, and the other, it does come off as elitists, like miscreants. And we need to stop doing that, honestly, because what happens is when we start having those conversations like that, people start getting tuned out and they're like, oh, I'm not going to listen because I don't like the delivery of that. And Donovan will tell you, he's working me a lot. I'm all about delivery. You could say the same thing as how you say it.
No, I get it. Delivery, and unfortunately, my willing to create the proper delivery is not always there, because when you feel like a one-legged man in a booty kicking contest. Sometimes delivery gets pushed to the wayside. You know what? I had a guy, white dude, afro. I was confused. White dude with an afro. He looked at me and in front of this girl I was seeing, Shirley. He says, "Walter, you are a piece of shit. You went out all day and you sold one bottle of cologne and you got this woman with you and you showing her an example of a weak ass man." His name is Doug Zerbel from San Diego. And to this day, that runs in my mind every single time I get weak or slow. I think about the words he said and what that did to motivate me to the next day to go out and sell 20 pieces of cologne. So his delivery was effed up, but he was right on point, and what he said was true. And I didn't let his delivery stop me from doing better. So that's the point I'm making. Sometimes we need to say, okay, his delivery's off, but we know we're all trying to get to the same place.
I totally agree. And we're going to get out of here because we've been here a long time. But I'm going to say, sometimes you got to do the razor blades and lemon juice. Y'all see me do it sometimes. But we got to use razor blades and lemon juice. That's when you, and then you pour some lemon juice on them wounds. But you got to do it with the right information. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, it just comes off as y'all ain't this, you ain't that, you ain't this, and y'all ain't that. You got to do it in love. You got to do it in the right information. Can't just, and I'm not saying this about you, Walter, but it can't just be mean spirited, right? It's a way to do it. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't agree with the in love part. I believe in just taking your medicine and getting it over with. I mean, you shouldn't talk down to people, but I'm overdoing shit in love. There's too much going on.
And that's the problem, because we don't operate in love, which is why because at the end of the day, Walter, you go to church, don't you?
I don't go to church. No.
You've gone to church.
If I've been to church. Last church I went to, I think it started shaking.
Right.
But yeah.
We have to operate in love, right? It says, what does it say in the Bible? Not that I go to church or anything, but above all it's, love or whatever the case is. So we do have to operate in love, and we have to start treating our people in love. Sometimes you might whoop your child's behind out of love, but it has to come from a place of love, because if it doesn't, it comes from somewhere else. And the delivery is horrible.
Have you ever got a spanking from me?
So anyway,
Never.
I love everybody. Hello to everybody that came on that we did not get to acknowledge. I hope that y'all got something out of today. We may not always agree, but we're gonna have a spirited conversation every once in a while. Donovan, it wasn't nice for you to just sit there and be like, "Woo! I'm glad it wasn't me today."
No. See, people got to understand, when there's a good debate going on, you don't necessarily always need a third person to go in there, because then the debate goes left and right. You guys stayed on one subject and went back and forth. Great debate.
Absolutely. So anyway,
buy some land, man.
Buy some land.
Or tell us where it's at so we can pitch in.
All right. So anyway, love everybody. See you guys on Sunday on a Sunday show. I'm sure it'll be even more of a spirited debate, but you guys stay cool. Do something fun. See y'all later. Peace.